What is going on, Crisis Actors? It is episode 1052 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. On Saturday, I did the low energy intro. On Monday, I did the medium energy intro. Today, I have resurrected the medium energy intro, but it will get higher as the show goes on, I promise you. Anyways, guys, my name is Brett. I hope you are all having a fantastic Tuesday. It's just still early in the week, but hopefully we can give you 2 hours of entertainment so that you can get through your workday and get yourself home. That's what we are here for. I am here with my guest co-host for the day. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Olivia. I'm the community manager here at Timcast. And we are not by ourselves today.
We are on a Tuesday.
We thought we would be. We really thought we would be, but we are joined once again by Brando.
What's up, guys? I'm back. Surprise, surprise. I am aight, according to Shane H. Wilder. And
high praise.
I'm happy to see you guys. Hope you're happy to see me, too. And what's up, Dasovix?
Are you going to be here on Thursday? Maybe, yes?
It's possible.
Talk him into it, while live on the air, put
one
it on
of the
spot.
reasons I wanted to do today was because we might be traveling this weekend, which I cannot disclose locations.
And it is Memorial Day weekend, correct?
Nope.
No, it's not actually.
Oh.
No, this is just for something different.
I think that's in 28th.
2 weeks.
2
it's
weeks?
the 25th, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Okay. We are going to be off on
Yes.
Memorial Day weekend, I believe, on Monday.
Monday we are
Maybe
off.
do you want to come in and do something? You want to come in and do a movie review or something?
I mean, we'll see.
We'll wait and see. I don't think she wants to, ladies
I mean, it
and
really
gentlemen.
depends
Put
on
him on the spot.
It just depends how what's out and what we watch and how we're feeling.
we
Is
have
there
to
a
move-
demand
we just-
for it? Is there even a demand for Memorial Day? Would they rather have it on a Saturday?
Well, that's what I'm
There's
saying.
a lot of questions
oh,
to be asked.
I see what you mean. Do it on
Like,
Saturday, but take
not
Monday off.
Monday. Because then we still get a 2-day weekend, technically.
Yeah.
Even
We'll
though
wait
we're
and see.
working a 6-day week.
Yeah. We'll wait and see.
Yes.
I bring that up, guys, because we did a special live movie review on Saturday. It was actually a lot of fun to go do. If you're a channel member here, and we just had 20 new channel memberships gifted yesterday. So if you are a channel member, you can go and watch that episode. I will also be recording a brand new bonus episode of PCC tomorrow night with the ladies from Force of Light Entertainment. They are great. They have been on the channel before. I'm debating, I don't think I'm going to do it for this one specifically, but I am debating about maybe starting to just bite the bullet and do those bonus episodes live as well. I kind of enjoy not having them live. That way, if there's tech issues, I don't have to worry about things going wrong.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But we'll wait and see. This one we'll definitely pre-record and put it out for you guys. So if you are a PCC channel member on YouTube, you will be able to watch that this week. I'm going to be doing that episode tomorrow with them on Wednesday, hopefully putting it up tomorrow evening. So stay tuned for that. What are we getting into today? We've got a bunch of stuff to talk about. Number one, of course, being we talked yesterday a little bit about the Kevin Hart roast, mainly in relation to Chelsea Handler. We're going to talk about it a little bit more because there were jokes made at a lot of people's expenses. There was jokes made at the expense of George Floyd. There was jokes made at the expense of Charlie Kirk. And what we're seeing now is the internet kind of collectively coming together to believe that they are the aggrieved party, the one who is truly and rightfully offended by the jokes that were made during a Netflix roast. We'll talk about it. We'll get into it a little bit. I wish we could show clips, but Netflix is one of those very, very litigious YouTube channel. They're very, very big about not just copyright claiming, but also blocking the entirety of the video. So we'll go through it. We'll talk about it a little bit. We are also going to talk about Jimmy Kimmel and the rest of the Strike Force 5. If you don't know what that is, I don't blame you. Most other people don't either. Those are the various late night hosts that nobody cares about.
They're not actually calling themselves that, are they?
That's what they call themselves during the pandemic.
Oh.
That's insane. Your timing on that was impeccable, by the way.
That was very good.
It was like it sounded right in line.
I was
with
waiting for it because I'm like, he's going to take a pause here, and I'm just going to let them know what I think.
Perfect.
As you guys know, Stephen Colbert is going off of the air. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. Stephen Colbert has been canceled. He goes off the air, I believe, on May 21st is his last
Coming
episode.
up.
Yeah. And he got together with the other members of the Irrelevant Late Night Host Squad to talk about what it all means, which is really just an indictment on their endless Trump derangement syndrome because they don't have any other new material to talk about. We'll get into their whole interview thing a little bit. We'll talk about what it means to be a comedian. on late night TV. So we'll get into that. We're also going to talk about Gen Z and the fall of patriotism here in the United States. There's a new survey that just came out that it's a bit of an indictment in a way on the way that we have trained the youths, both at institutions and by our families, I suppose, as well. There seems to be a decreasing level of patriotism as each new generation comes and goes. It shows this in the survey. We'll get into it. Perhaps we'll talk a little bit about what it all means. We've got a whole bunch of other stuff to get into. So if everybody is ready, we can go. Are you ready?
I am so ready.
You are? You're good? You're good? Okay.
So wait, before we get started though, before I'm ready, which I'm ready, we have a 20 from Katie.
Oh, yes, go for it.
I'm gonna see if I can see it still. You might have to.
I
see it. I
got
see it. Hi, Olivia and Brett. She didn't say Brando. I don't think she read the caption. That's okay.
That's okay.
And Brando, I'm going to throw it in there for her. Rest in peace to Australia. Tonight, our Prime Minister said in his address, I'm assuming, he will use tax money. Oh, okay. In his tax money plan, he's bringing 2 million more migrants because he's cheating the election. My country's screwed. Yeah, pray for Australia, y'all. We are, Rip Australia.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you, Katie.
It.
Hoping for the best for you.
All right. Brando, are you ready?
Let's get it.
Let's go for it then. Let's talk about Jimmy Kimmel. I always start with that intro. Let's talk about late night television. One of the most irrelevant means of doing comedy in the year of our Lord 2026. Certainly we're going to be talking about the Netflix roast in this episode as well, which is mildly more relevant. I would make the argument that if you really want subversive or transgressive comedy, you have to go to independent creators on social media, because really in a lot of ways, and it's something we'll talk about more when we talk about the roast, if you're going to look at jokes that are made by corporate apparatuses, then what you're seeing is like 9 layers of security approving a joke or this stuff before it ever comes out. And these shows have been losing money for a very, very long time. If you want to look at the likes of Kimmel or Colbert losing like what, $40 million a year as he's being canceled. His last episode is coming out on May 21st. So what he did is he had on the rest of his crew of the Strike Force 5. I'm saying it. Don't blame me. This is these guys.
Flip it.
Jimmy Kimmel, John Oliver, Seth Meyers, and Jimmy Fallon discussed Donald Trump's obsession with late night on Stephen Colbert's Late Show. I appreciate that he's watching linear television. So this is what it says. Stephen Colbert hosted his late night frontmen, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, and John Oliver on Monday's episode of The Late Show. The meeting of the minds was a send-off for Colbert as he enters his final days as the face of The Late Show. Gone are the days of David Letterman, ladies and gentlemen. It is truly sad here.
How about Johnny Carson,
yeah,
man?
well, I mean, I'm just going with kind of like James Bond.
No, Letterman's a legend, man. Letterman's a legend.
Well, no, and Letterman is one of the ardent defenders of Colbert and says that all of this is the fault of Skydance, who purchased Paramount. So he's putting the blame at their feet, that because they're in league with Trump, or his words, that they did this to appease the administration. Partway through the joint interview, Colbert prompted his guests to make a case for late night. Given that the genre has struggled in recent years, Kimmel was the first to go. He emphasized that the strength of late night's fan base, which he experienced firsthand when Jimmy Kimmel Live was briefly suspended. That's funny, because I was told that that was the whole government coming down on his back.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. He says, we have a lot of shows, 30,000 people watching each one, and it adds up. People watch us on YouTube now. People have a lot of different options, and they keep coming to us. I will tell you, when I got knocked off the air for a few days, people canceled Disney Plus. Why aren't people canceling Paramount? Because nobody had it in the first place. Well, the thing is he actually had most of his celebrity buddies signal boost that they should cancel Disney Plus.
Well, that's true. And I mean, look, for them to try to be like, oh, Trump is obsessed with us, can we not talk about how they're all weirdly obsessed with making fun of him?
It's very incestuous that they're all obsessed with each other.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's that. And the reason they've struggled in the last few years is because we went through 4 years of Biden, and so they couldn't make jokes at Trump's expense. And so for that, they suffered greatly. And also, I mean, look, Colbert was the one who did the vax scene, correct? That was him that did the dance.
The dance with the creepy
like syringes.
Things.
Was that him? Was that Colbert?
I think that was Colbert.
And that was enough to get him pulled off the air and put into a gulag. Like, honestly, that was enough to like send him to Gitmo for me.
Hold on, let me see if
That felt like a crime against humanity.
Yes, it was the vaccine.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that felt like a crime against humanity. And so he should have been taken off the air the second that aired. But
Yeah, if
here we
anybody
are.
remembers the-
It was too little too late, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's, you want to talk about how bad my cringes are? Most of those are, I mean, just guys being dudes on the internet, but this was done as a production, okay?
So one of the
Nothing's
things
worse
that
than that.
I was wondering, maybe you guys could answer the question for me, because I was thinking about this today. Because one of the critiques that I'm seeing is they're saying like 5 different late night shows, no jokes being made about Eric Swalwell. But I guess my question is, because they're on linear network television, does that mean that they have some type of obligation to be unbiased?
I mean, not necessarily. I get what you're saying. I don't think so. We all know they have a bias. We all know they have their opinions. And there's nothing that says they can't be. Well, they say that they're for all audiences. We all know that's not true. Their biases just seep out of them.
Maybe it's not. Maybe obligation's not the right word.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. I think there's a different word we need to stick there instead of obligated. It's more like, like it's generally frowned upon to go at like your own.
Some might say that they do have the obligation, because there was the stuff, if everybody remembers, with the FCC about equal time for news programs. Like if you're going to give interview time to one person, you have to give interview time to another. Suppose that's not really necessarily true when it comes to making jokes about someone. But it's also like nobody who started listening to Tom McDonald is expecting him to make songs about how Republicans suck. I mean, maybe he does, but like his audience has a demand for a specific type of music, and he fills that demand. I guess my point is more like, let these people fade into obscurity because they don't know. Like in a world where funny stuff happens every day, you just have to kind of be on the lookout for it. Like the fact that you go back to the Trump well over and over just kind of seems depressing to me.
Yeah.
Like in a way, I get depressed just talking about it, because it's like there's so much funny stuff online that could be talked about. Now, Saturday Night Live is actually becoming an interesting case study, because for Saturday Night Live, there's no shared culture in America anymore. So they end up having to make humor that's either political about Trump, you know, with like, what is it? Like, is it still Alec Baldwin who would play him? In that stuff, or they have to go into like internet trends, which then doesn't even resonate with their audience of old people, because they don't, you know, nobody our age watches Saturday Night Live.
I mean, yeah, I think it depends on who is hosting as well, who the guest host is on Saturday Night Live. So they're going to automatically gear towards who that might be. So, you know, for Sabrina Carpenter, they worked with some jokes in there about how she over-sexualizes herself. She made jokes about that. She even did a little gag in the middle of her song where everyone says that she lip syncs.
Yeah.
And so she turned off the lights and the background music, actually, you know, sang into the mic and then turned it back on during the song, which was in and of itself a joke, because people always say she lip syncs and she doesn't. You can say a lot about Sabrina Carpenter, but she is a talented vocalist.
I would ask the chat then, like to the chat, do the late night show hosts have an obligation to make jokes about everybody, or is it within their right to make jokes about just Trump to their own detriment, because their shows are losing tons of money?
I think
now the frustrating part about that is like they lose tons of money, but they're insulated from the consequences because of the networks they're on. And I suppose that's the benefit of doing so, right? If you're subsidized by a major network, you can make jokes all you want about something that doesn't actually drive any revenue, because you've got people filling in the, you know, the gaps with your
It might
income.
be one of the only things you actually have an advantage of being on a network for these days, honestly.
Yeah. Like to just make the, like in that case, it's ideological subversion, and it has nothing to do with actually delivering for the audience.
I mean, yeah, and this goes back to also just news channels in general. Like, they deliver a certain point of view to their audience. They always do. That's the 5 on Fox is one of those rare ones where they actually try to pull Democrats into the roundtable discussion. But most of them are going to be skewed one way or another. We know this. I mean, we work for Tim, and Tim still can't get most lefties to come onto his show, but his audience expects a certain.
Maybe we can get Brian Shapiro on, because I couldn't. I like yesterday, I mixed up Brian Shapiro and Josh Shapiro.
Dude,
At least I didn't mess it up with Ben Shapiro.
I
Yeah.
honestly wonder how much that happens to him. I'm not even kidding. He's got to be so sick of that by now.
Somebody in the chat
Brian
left
Shapiro
a
is
comment.
just
Somebody left a
yeah.
comment in the chat that said they clearly don't watch other Timcast shows because Brian Shapiro's been on a bunch of times. I'm like, yeah, like, I don't know.
Yeah, Brian Shapiro's a kind of a dirtbag, but he's been on a number of times. And to his credit, he's one of the only liberals, other than like Kyla, who will come on consistently, even if he is as big of a dirtbag as he is.
My other critique of this, with Kimmel's initial quote here, when he says, "I will tell you, when I got knocked off the air for a few days, people canceled Disney Plus. Why aren't people canceling Paramount Plus?" I just see this as a guy who works for ABC trying to tell a guy who's being fired by CBS to get people to quit supporting CBS. It's just corporate espionage. Or not, I guess not corporate espionage, but it's some form of like trying to like take out the competition.
I mean, I just think it's really stupid when you try to cancel a whole company because a show was taken off the air for not just because he did something dumb, he just had really bad ratings. And I don't know how old is he? Oh my gosh.
Colbert?
Colbert.
I don't know.
Like
I'm sure all these guys are in the same age range, in the 50s.
Colbert is actually, I'm pretty sure he's getting up there, man.
That's what I'm saying. Is
because he's been kicking since Kids Under the Stairs, right?
Long time.
64. How is he younger than my dad?
So this is what David Letterman had to say about all this, and I tweeted about this a while back. It says, former late night show host David Letterman, who will be among Colbert's final guests, has been one of the most outspoken detractors of the CBS decision. In a recent interview with the New York Times, he said he was dumped because the people selling the network to Skydance said, "Oh no, there's not going to be any trouble with that guy. No. We're going to take care of the show. We're going to just throw that into the deal. When will the ink on this check dry?" Why wouldn't they just replace him then?
Right.
Like if late night TV was as lucrative as he's making it out to be, why wouldn't they just put in Greg Gutfeld? Go pay a bunch of money to get Greg Gutfeld to take over for Colbert.
Yes, because late night TV is just failing.
Or who's a right way? Get Ryan Long in there to do. Actually, Ryan Long would benefits from having all the creative freedom.
That's
so
true. I don't know who. I don't know who
would be the
Adam
the
Carolla. Get Adam Carolla to fill in the spot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's not that. It's that late night television is dying. People don't care much about cable anymore. I'm telling you right now, I don't watch cable unless we are getting ready for IRL, and we'll have cable up in the studio area, like right outside the studio. And first of all, the commercials kill me. They're way worse than I ever thought.
It's really just news so that we could catch something breaking if there's anything going on. We don't watch anything.
What do you mean? Like the commercials?
The ads are just so like the commercials on TV.
I've ruined her, ladies and gentlemen.
No, they've gotten
she can't
so
watch
bad.
Commercials either.
No. The commercials. It's not that I care about the commercials. It's the quality of the commercials. They just suck now because they don't put a lot of effort in because they're not going to the high volume audience they used to. Whereas when you watch like the old Airheads commercials, everyone knows exactly what I'm talking about. If I say that, they get the Airheads, right? You know what I'm talking about.
You just totally gave me PTSD from all the popsicle commercials where he was like, "Popsicle Zone, ho!"
What about Reese's Puffs? Reese's Puffs. You don't remember that one?
I don't remember a jingle.
Apparently, you guys have languished in the world of commercials. I haven't languished in the world of commercials.
Yeah, I've definitely sat in front of a fair amount of advertisements in my day.
What about waking up at 3 a.m. to the TV and it's like the playlist of all the best love ballads ever, and it's like Celine Dion.
But no, you know you're old if you remember at like 4 a.m. waking up on the couch to the American flag on the TV, the anthem playing, and then all of a sudden it fades out, the broadcast ends for the night, and your TV screen turns to static.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like they shut the channel off for the night.
Oh man, we could do a whole thing about nostalgic commercials. I can think of a bunch of them. There's the all the different Betty Crocker ones. There was like the cake, you could make a filling in the cake and you like bake it a certain way. I don't remember what it was called. And then of course We've Met ShamWow guy.
Yeah,
he was another one that was
funny.
But no, there was like the acting was so bad in this one commercial that Josh and I were sitting there and we were like, the old man was at least kind of believable, but the girl was like, and what does that do? And we're like, bro, what is this, Dora the Explorer? Like, it was so bad.
Well, in fairness, these guys aren't going out for Oscars, they're just,
I know, but it's like, I don't, like, it's not like they have, someone said, hi, Billy Mays
I get it,
here.
though, the cringe, yeah.
Love Billy Mays. But yes, it's one of those things where TV in and of itself, cable TV is a dying breed. And even in the novelty of putting it on cable TV is you have the commercial breaks, right? Mm-hmm. And that's where you get the money and all of that. But no one's going to be like, hey, let's just watch it on streaming just uninterrupted. That sounds like fun. No, it doesn't. It's like watching Friends without the laugh tracks. It's not actually funny.
Well,
the commercials on streaming are worse now. So I don't watch a lot of like Tubi or Roku these days. I especially stopped watching the Roku channel because since they created Howdy, now everything on the Roku channel is like a gap between, like, you can see shows that are only available on Howdy. So then you click on it and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna watch this, and then it says you have to pay to do it, which is bullshit. But the commercials on there are all AI generated.
Well, that's the other side.
Creepy AI, uncanny valley people selling you auto insurance.
That's the other side of that, Liv, is AI. So, like, let's break it down here. The numbers that these guys were talking about, I saw 30,000 mentioned in viewership, right?
I mean,
that's an IRL number, like, for these guys. Now,
I mean, they're doing millions of views on their social media.
Sure. But for network, you know, like, that's just a sign that people aren't watching, you know, network TV anymore. Maybe people are watching the shows online after the fact or whatever, you have it. But when you've downsized to that, that means advertisers are going to be looking to spend less to get their stuff out there. Yeah. And with AI, that's possible now. So now you've got this causality of people trying to spend less on commercials and using AI to make them 100% fake and fast and get them out there. Like, you're gonna lose quality massively.
The AI commercials have like these little like asterisks underneath that say like an artificial intelligent representation of a real person,
which is insane.
Yeah. Not an actual commercial.
Yeah. Instead of it just being like actor portrayal of a patient, it's AI of a real person.
What did they used to say?
It used to say
dramatization.
Yes. Or just actor portrayal or whatever. We have a 20 here from Pop Culture Junkie. The economics of late night TV are awful. You really need to produce something on a fairly thin budget with cheap talent to make a decent profit. In the days of Johnny Carson, 20% of NBC's income was late night, not anymore.
Well, yeah, because it costs hundreds. Yeah. They cost $100 million. So like it just costs them a fortune to make. Even if you're looking at their YouTube revenue, there's people who make more than that on YouTube with none of the budget. Mm-hmm. So
I found a treasure trove before we move on of 2000s commercials I remember very distinctly that I can read off really quick.
Go for it.
The Chef Boyardee commercials where the can follows them home. It like falls off the shelf and rolls home with them. That's one of them. Zoo Books was a big one. They'd always be like, call this number.
Oh.
Zoo Books was a big one.
Oh.
Do you remember the dog that was always like, oh, you got bacon bits? And it was like a hyper dog that always was like, bacon bits. Yes. And then there was, let's see, there's another one I saw that I was like, wow.
Real Men of Genius. That's a good one.
Well, those weren't.
I forgot about those.
Got milk ads. Got milk ads were on TV.
Mr. All You Can Eat Buffet in Vegas.
I have like the hour and a half long version of that. It's just the ads back to back to back.
Yeah, there was Floam was a big one. Like
before Real American Genius, they were actually called Real American Heroes, and then
the
it
iPod
Real
commercials of like the people, like the silhouettes dancing. The iPod commercials. Where it was like a solid background with a silhouette of someone listening to an iPod. I know that's like kind of niche, but
when everybody was like dancing and they're like and the colors would change in the background and they're doing this and this and this, and it was just like, ugh.
Maybe we'll do a special episode one day
on commercials.
On commercials, maybe we'll do a stream one day where we talk about commercials.
Well, usually you need to wait. So I've actually showed a lot of old commercials on this channel. I used to show the old Surge commercials that look like they were made by a bunch of meth heads. Those ads were great where the guy goes Surge and they all roll down the hill in bins or they all like run after. Those Surge commercials were fantastic.
I miss Surge.
There's a ton of them. There is a ton of these. And then of course the one that went super viral, the Sounded on TikTok, the little lad who loves berries and cream, and he'd be like, I'm a little lad who loves berries and cream, and it was like this little guy dancing. AT&T commercials. There was the lady Flo from Progressive. She's still around, but
the Quiznos subs little guys.
Yes. There's tons. So maybe we'll do
what the hell were those things anyway?
All right, we got more stuff to get into. Let's talk. Look, I think we kind of let down. We here in America kind of let down our moms collectively on Mother's Day this year.
So a new study shows that 75% of people prefer to text their mom instead of calling her on Mother's Day. This was a new study that was done by AT&T. We have it here from People saying that they send roughly 3 texts to their moms for every 1 phone call that is made on Mother's Day. They do it by cities that are most likely to reach out to their moms, which I thought was very interesting.
It's also generational, it seems.
It is generational. So
is that
Houston,
a 75
San
percentile right there that I just heard?
Mm-hmm. There's Houston, San Antonio, and Chicago are the top cities that are most likely to reach out to their moms for the holiday. And then it said that one of the executives at AT&T, Jennifer Robertson, said Gen Zers text their moms daily, calling, texting, one of the most consistent ways families stay close across generations. I thought it was super interesting. I think that's one of the few days that I won't text my stepmom. I mean, I will text her like throughout the week. I don't have time to call her throughout the week. Our schedules don't really align throughout the work week. But during, weekends, or especially on Mother's Day, like we called her in the car on Sunday and we talked to her for like 25 minutes. And we would have talked to her longer, but I was losing connection where we were going. And it just says you are more likely to text rather than call. And I think that is a massive disservice to
they make an interesting
your mother
point
who
here.
gave so much to you.
They make an interesting point here that says a text is immediate, it's personal, and unlike a call, it's something she can hold on to.
I mean, send her a card, man. Send her, you buy a $1.50 card at the dollar
They're
store.
basically saying like the transcript of the text is more important than the phone.
Less than $3 to get a card from the dollar store and a stamp from the post office to send to your mom, and you write out a nice little note. We did send her a card as well. We did both, and we called her, right? In lieu of being able to like bring her flowers physically, which usually my brother will cover that, I will send a card and I will call her every Mother's Day, and you should be doing that. Now, if I was close, I would just go and get her flowers and get her like a basket of flowers. That's what we did every year. We'd get her a new basket to put out. But yes, I get it's immediate and it's personal. You know what's also immediate? Picking up the phone and calling her. And when she picks up and hearing your voice, a lot of people, mothers love that. They love hearing what you're up to, hearing your voice. And when you're an adult, it's harder to catch up.
I mean,
really
unless you're in you're in that few percentage of people whose father gave birth to them, and even then you should be calling your dad. Call your mother on Mother's Day. It's what, 15 minutes out of your life?
Also,
how long was she in labor with you?
Also, so what if you get stuck for an hour? It's your mother. Like, unless you have a really bad relationship with your mom, call your freaking mom. FaceTime her.
Is it your day? I'm sorry. Is it your day? It's Mother's Day. Is it your day?
No.
Only if you're a mom. And if you're a mom, you should be getting a phone call.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
It's very insane to me. So Brett and I can both personally speak on the fact that we lost our moms and we can't call our moms. So it's even more annoying to me.
I was going to say that's got to be the most frustrating thing in the world to see, like when something like this happens and you're like, I would give anything to talk to my mother again, and people just don't care.
Yes, I would give anything to have a 1-minute phone call and hear her voice again. The fact people can't pick up the phone and they're like, oh, well, Gen Z doesn't like talking on the phone. I don't care.
Suck it up.
It's your mom. What do you mean you don't like talking on the phone? You're not calling a doctor's office, which even then,
it's one day out of the year. Like, honestly, you should be calling your parents once in a while anyway. I have a hard time doing it sometimes, but I still try.
Yeah, this is a trope of the TV shows where they'll talk about a character who they'll be looking at the phone records and like he calls his parents every Sunday. I'm like, I don't hear much about that these days. Though it does seem like this survey seems to say that Gen Z is doing better about keeping in contact with their family.
Yeah, so my dad and I are close. You guys know that I send him the show every time I'm on, and he's usually watching and texting me live as it happens.
Hi, Jimbo.
Hi, Dad, if you're watching right now. I don't know if he's watching or not, but if you are, hello. I called my stepmom yesterday, and
the phone call is so much more important.
It is.
Like,
it is.
Like,
and
that part about it being like the text is like something she can hold on to is massive.
And also the card.
There's no emotion in a text at all.
You sent a card. That is something you took your time out of your day to go buy her a card, write down something, address it, send it. That is so much more meaningful than picking up your phone, which you're already on all the time anyway, and sending a text. And I always try to either call my mom or call my stepmom or, text her a couple times throughout the week. But what you guys may not realize, and I can share this, it's been public information, she lost her mom in December, very suddenly, very, very unexpectedly. And so it was even more important. It wasn't just important, it was more important to call and send a card and do all that. You never know when it's going to be the last time you can talk to her or do any of that. So everyone's saying, oh, you just sent her a text. I was kicking myself when my Nana passed away because I had texted her on Thanksgiving instead of calling her, and she died a few days after that. And I was so mad at myself. I was like, and I knew it wasn't my fault, right? This was like, we had just seen her a couple weeks before that for my papa's service. Yes, they passed away very close together. And it was one of those things where I was like, but I thought we were going to see her at Christmas. And so I was so mad at myself. I was mad for, I have voicemails from my mom that I keep, and I'm glad I did. But you don't know. You really don't know. You really should call weekly at least, but
well, they do say this down here. I mean, I know that it's not the best path forward since they're talking about text messages.
My dad says hi, by the way.
says, tell Jimbo we said hi. So it
Hi,
says,
Dad.
we've heard consistently that Gen Z texts their moms daily. Even quick digital touch points play a meaningful role in maintaining connections, and texting has become one of the most consistent ways families stay close across generations.
Well-
Also, we don't do it in my family, but like the family group chat is like a thing.
Oh, we don't do it either.
We don't do the family group chat thing, but like my dad was like, for instance, yesterday, my dad and me don't text every day, but we try to stay in contact.
I think your dad texts me more than he texts you at this point.
But yesterday he was giving me live updates of the Wild game.
Yep.
And I cherish that.
I love that your dad will randomly message me, very much boomer-esque. There will be videos of Niagara Falls, but with a quote about marriage over it. And he'll be like, well, you went on your thing to Niagara, you went on your honeymoon to Niagara Falls, and you're married. He'll send me 20 tips. Like, it's one of those images that's technically like a GIF, I guess. So they make it into a video, and it's, people want embarrassing stories from my dad. Don't worry. You weren't invited to the wedding. You don't get embarrassing stories. Only the people at the wedding got that, which he definitely told a couple. But I just... Look, guys, pick up the phone, call your parents. I think if you take anything from this segment, it should be how important it is to talk to your family. We don't have a family group chat. We do, and it's very much for when one of us is traveling. Hey, I got here safely. If family members in the hospital or whatever, hey, here's an update on the situation. We don't use it every day to be like, hee hee, hello.
I was gonna say, if even not even family, just people, period. If you're gonna add me to a group text, there better be a goddamn good reason why you're doing it.
Yeah,
or I'm going to give you hell for doing it.
Yeah,
because it just turns into ding, 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 ding.
And then you turn off the notification and they say something important. You're like, well, how was I supposed to know it was going to be important?
I've been texting you all day. Where you been? It's like, text my phone, dude.
Text me
I haven't
personally.
had notifications on my phone since like 2020. I don't get it.
No, I've had it on silent for probably about 4 years now.
Like I don't get it. I don't get any.
I mean, my phone's on silent. I'll get a vibration on my phone.
Important
I will check
shit goes there, and I just cool.
Yep.
I don't get any. I don't get. I have to actively check it, and it would be like it's not an excuse anyways because I look at my phone enough that I would know that something came through. But I don't have anything like my phone does not light up.
Dude, there's still times
except
though,
for two things: for words with friends. And for Amazon, because you can't turn off the Amazon notification.
You don't get those. You don't ever get those situations where like you're flipping back through text, and even though you've checked your phone 10 times today, you're like, "How the hell did I miss that text from 12 hours ago?" And it's just in there.
I had that today, Bree. If you're watching, I'm so sorry, girl. I didn't text you back on Monday. She texted me Sunday, and then we were doing stuff, and then I didn't check it yesterday because I was like, "Oh, this must be like." Notification from someone else or like whatever.
120 unread.
Oh my gosh!
I don't even want to tell you how many I got,
dude.
dude.
So anxious. It's
I get bill collectors.
As long as I don't get the little red notification, I don't care. Like I don't get the push notification, so I don't care.
464.
See, bruh. No one can ever be offended if
and
Brandon
that's all just and that's not like me replying to like my friends or people that I know. That's all just bullshit coming in.
Yeah.
Like
I always read them because the little thing makes me really. I always read them. I usually just delete it.
It's the new spam email is getting.
Also, I get lots of text messages from like the number. Like it's not a name. It's from 1113114 saying that I paid my bill with auto pay. That's where all my text messages are.
Let's see. The last one I got was from Papa John's for Brett's Pizza last night. I got a random one that says hi, and I just didn't respond because I knew it was going to be fake. But I got one with we're from Roofing Pros. No, you're not. Shut up. I get them all the time. Oh, there's a huge one.
I got one from Trump once.
Oh, he texts.
I got one from Biden once too.
Yeah.
I'm still laughing about Papa John's just sliding into Olivia's DMs. Like that's hilarious.
I said opt-in because
I was driving
and
I was like, will you order the pizza because I'm driving right now?
Yeah, and so I opted in so that I could make sure it was like I could tell him it was done.
Too. That's weird. I haven't had it in months.
Well, I get the carry out because I'm cheap. Because it's
well, you were already going to be.
Well, they don't deliver to me over where I'm at anyway, so I have to come all the way up to Seatown to get in there. And
that makes sense.
The point is, ladies and gentlemen,
call your mom.
They're only
get your mama Papa John's pizza.
They're only here. Yeah, it's not Mama John's, it's Papa John's. You can
and Papa John's wants you to give your mama a pizza.
They're only here for a short period of time. We need to send them messages and give them calls.
Yeah, because even when you can't, you're gonna take advantage of it, and everyone says that, and then you can't. You're like, oh, this sucks. Yeah, it does freaking suck. So call your mom on Mother's Day. Don't text her.
I did see this. You sent me this of Chrissy Teigen celebrating her children's nannies on Mother's Day.
Bad. Oh, this was so bad. This one made me cringe. This was the first topic I actually found on here, and I Oh man, she's like, my 4 nannies, and it really gave me this perspective of how much mothers actually do, because this woman would rather basically pay somebody to be a mother for her, but then take all the credit of being a mom, but then also being like, oh, I wouldn't be here without my nannies. We're so blessed. I'm so grateful. And I'm like, look, girl, like, that's fine to appreciate them, but they're also not your parents, your kids' parents. Like, that's, and it's also very out of touch. It made me very uncomfortable reading that. I was like, girl, no, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's super weird to be like, so grateful. Like, she said, grateful for all the people who make it possible for me to be the best mother I can be. You're not being a mother if you have 4 freaking nannies. Sorry, Kellen. If you have 4 freaking nannies.
How many kids does she have?
4.
She has 4. So she has one
a nanny
for
per
each
kid.
Must be nice.
Most of us can't. I mean, we don't have children yet, but most of us can't afford to even have one nanny for 4 kids, and they're out here bragging about their 4 nannies, and it just is one of those things where, like, you make it possible for me to be a good mom. Girl, no good mother, unless you have like 10 kids, then maybe I'd understand that, right? That's a lot of kids to
No, I
manage.
still don't understand.
Really?
I don't get it.
I would, if you had like 10 kids, maybe I would get it to help, not even to be a parent, but maybe to help with chores, right? You have like a housekeeper kind of
You
thing.
have 10 kids.
Okay, it depends.
Make
how
them
old
do chores.
That's true.
Depends on how old they are.
Yeah, if it's like 10, 9, 8, 7,
Nah, man,
like,
you got 10 kids. One
if
of them
you had-
has to be 10, right?
fair.
No.
Unless you had
Nope, you could have
decatuplets or whatever the hell you want to call them.
Could have been Octomom and then 2 single kids.
I forgot about Octomom.
Octomom.
I still don't understand that woman.
Octomom. Remember, what was it? John and Kate Plus 8 was a show on TLC back in the day, and then there was the Duggars, which was like 19 kids and counting.
I swear
And
that
now
was a
half of them are
legitimate
in
like
jail.
era fad that people had of how many children can I possibly have.
Yep.
And it was like you were trying to set a world. Oh,
Yeah, but
she had
didn't,
8.
like-
We're gonna do 9.
Didn't like
Like-
2 or 3 of those kids from 19 kids and counting end up in jail for like crimes against
I
minors?
wouldn't be surprised if 2 or 3 of those kids ended up dead.
I'm
like,
pretty sure that the Duggar kids in jail. I'm pretty sure that multiple of them, Josh Duggar and Joseph Duggar, are both in jail for crimes against. It says, so one was recent. Joseph Duggar was arrested in March 2026 on charges of lewd and lascivious behavior involving a minor in Florida. And then Josh Duggar is serving a 12-year and 7-month sentence in a federal prison for possessing and receiving child abuse content in a certain manner. If you catch
People
my
are
drift.
correct about the very concerning Chrissy Teigen tweets from back in the
Yes,
day.
and
too.
she's also like paying someone to be a mother, but then being like, "You're making me such a good mom." You're not being a mom.
Didn't she also
Being a
like,
mother is more than
didn't
pushing
she-
out a kid.
Beyond just the creepy tweets that she had, there was also like she was like bullying somebody online and like told them to go off themselves or something like that.
Oh
I
yeah,
forget-
yeah. Like a kid, like a 16-year-old
I forget
girl or
who it
something.
was, yeah.
yeah. I remember
Anyways,
there was that whole thing. There was the whole like celebrities ordering pizza thing where
Yep.
like pizza was just
cheese pizza.
was code
Yeah.
word for we
Yesterday-
ordered an underage
yesterday-
kid come over and bang it. You know, like
Yeah.
yesterday
Or
I
eat
get
it, whatever
Papa
they do.
John's, and then all of a sudden, what if I just wanted to tweet yesterday? I love eating pizza, and then people are gonna think you're like a pedophile.
That's fair.
Can't,
Yeah.
you can't pizza like imagine being in the pizza industry now. You can't tweet about it at all.
Well,
Otherwise
who the
people are
hell
gonna
goes
think that
out
you-
there and actually says, "Hey, we just ordered an extra large cheese pizza. Everybody come over." No
Yeah,
one.
true.
I'm keeping my pizza.
That's a good point.
I don't
Also,
want
I would-
anybody to
Yeah, I
have
wouldn't
any.
put
That's-
out like a
that's-
Slack message and
I
be
didn't
like,
order a
"Hey,
large for you."
everybody, I ordered a large cheese pizza. Come over here."
Yeah, no,
I'd be
that's
like,
like-
"Pizza's here. If you're hungry, eat pizza." Like, but it wouldn't
Oh,
be that
hey, yeah, there's some
specific.
pizza in the
Yeah, if
in
you
the
want
kitchen.
it, you can get it. Whatever. You know, it
Something
wouldn't be
is
that
just
specific.
was just shady about that whole
Yeah.
thing and the whole Wayfair
Yeah.
cabinet thing and
Yeah,
all that.
I forgot
That was
about
just
that.
such a weird time, and they were like, her and John were at like the forefront of that, and I was like, okay, you guys
Mm-hmm.
are definitely on my weird list now.
All right, let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes the movies that we watch, the entertainment that we consume, can have real life consequences, especially when they do these ripped from the headline stories. There was a movie that came out on Netflix towards the beginning of the year. Unfortunately, I never got a chance to actually watch it because we don't actually have Netflix. It's like the one streaming service I seem to be kind of against getting, not on principle, but if I have to choose between Netflix and HBO Max, I will always end up choosing HBO Max. That movie was called The Rip, and The Rip was a movie starring Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. They also produced this film as well. And the Miami cops, in which this movie is supposedly based on, are suing Ben Affleck and Matt Damon for their portrayal in the movie because they're saying that it makes them look bad here. 2 Miami police officers have filed a lawsuit against Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, claiming that the 2 actors falsely portrayed them in the Netflix crime drama The Rip, a movie that was allegedly inspired by their story. The lawsuits were filed by Jason Smith and Jonathan Santana, officers with the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office, who allege that their stories inspired the film's plot. This comes from Entertainment Weekly. Although Smith and Santana are not mentioned by name in the film, the lawsuit claims that Matt Damon and Ben Affleck's characters are heavily associated with the 2 officers, that their portrayal has caused, quote, substantial harm to their personal and professional reputations because the movie and its advertisements imply misconduct, poor judgment, and unethical behavior in connection with a real-life law enforcement operation. The officer's complaint, which has been obtained and reviewed by Entertainment Weekly, accuses Artist Equity and Affleck and Damon's LLC production company, Falco Productions, of defamation per se and defamation by implication. The officers have brought a claim for intentional infliction of emotional distress. Like, I don't know how you can prove intentionality in this here, but it goes on. In the film, Matt Damon and Affleck portray Lieutenant Dane Dumars and Sergeant J.D. Byrne, respectively, who both discover $20 million in cartel money that explodes into a web of corruption within the department. The complaint claims that the case that served as the inspiration for the film was a real-life incident in which Smith and Santana seized more than $21 million in June of 2016. As a result, the plaintiffs allege that the film's use of unique, non-generic details of the June 29th, 2016 investigation, combined with its Miami-Dade setting and portrayal of a narcotics team, creates a reasonable inference that the officers depicted are the plaintiffs. Thoughts?
I don't know if they're going to get this reckless either, because there's some factors involved with being able to claim intentional infliction of emotional distress. Now, one of them is I think they have to be acting solely out of malice.
Yes.
And they're basically suggesting that not only did they do this and screw their lives up, but that the entire reason that they made this movie in the first place was to do that. I don't think they're going to get that.
No.
I didn't know about this story until you told me about it today, and I was blown away because I had absolutely no idea. They don't make any kind of allusion whatsoever to the fact that this was based on any kind of true events whatsoever. But how many busts have we seen where there's $21 million involved between 2 Miami cops, you know?
It says Smith and Santana allege that anyone familiar with the case easily connected them to the fictional officers portrayed by Damon and Affleck. The lawsuit claims family members, colleagues, and even prosecutors questioned the officers after seeing the film or its trailer, asking which character they were and how many buckets they kept.
I mean, look, I would have never connected it, but I'm also kind of a normie.
I mean, it's not about that.
Hey.
We had 20 from Easy E says, both my parents came from families with over 10 kids, Catholic farmers. It is a well-documented fact that after 7, the older ones watch the youngins, and the younger ones keep the older ones from getting into trouble with cops.
Otherwise, what did I have you for?
Look, it's absolutely. Do you think they have a case here? Do you guys think there's actually a case to be made?
It's
right.
I do. I just don't. I don't know if the one that they're pushing is going to go the way that they want it to, but
how do you feel about this type of story in general now, though? Because this is becoming more and more common as they do. This is true with Ryan Murphy's true crime stuff that he does. He sensationalizes and he adds tons of details that might not be true to these types of movies and television shows. But a lot of times people have an issue when you try to police art because, you know, like once you start censoring the art for any reason, then it gets very easy to start having anything pulled.
I mean, look, I think defamation's hard to prove in any court, even with a stronger case. I think it's very hard to prove, but I don't know about this case specifically. If they didn't name them, they didn't say it was based on a true story, any of that
No, it
stuff.
did say that.
It did?
No, or am I misremembering?
I thought we
this?
said
I don't
it didn't.
remember it saying
It says the police thriller was marketed as inspired by true events, but the lawsuit says the movie borrowed heavily from a real June 29th, 2020. 2016.
I mean, they're the ones linking themselves to it more than the movie did.
But they're saying that they're hearing it from other people. They're not. They didn't come out and be like, "Hey, I hope nobody connects me to this." They're saying that people already saw the trailer and went up to them and were like, "So
that's what
how
I
much
mean.
of that money did you?"
How many of these situations do you see where two cops in Miami come across 21 million in cartel money?
This was true. So the politicians and the cops during the era of The Wire were not fans of the show because it made everybody look bad. So they would arrest members of the cast and keep them in jail over the weekend, trying to halt production and cause issues for them. So there's a long history of this type of stuff.
I mean,
sounds like discrimination.
I don't know
Just saying.
anything
It
really
was 2000.
about this case. Like I can't talk much on it, but I do think it's going to get thrown out just based on what I've read on it. It doesn't seem like they have a hard case to go in and prove. Like it's like, hard and fast they can prove
They've
it.
got to prove 4 of those factors.
It says the officers say they warned the filmmakers before and after the film was
That
released,
has to be in
sending
writing.
a cease and desist letter in December of 2025, objecting to the trailer and promotional materials. The complaint further alleges that a Miami-Dade officer who was consulting on the film later contacted the plaintiffs on behalf of director Joe Carnahan to apologize and offer consulting opportunities on a future project. So that seems like a tacit admission that they know they messed up.
Yep.
Like if Joe Carnahan didn't mess up, why would he reach out to them at all?
Yeah, I don't know.
The number one thing you got to prove here, and this is what I looked it up because I was pretty sure that I knew this, intentional or reckless conduct. And it's the first thing you have to prove is that the defendant acted with the intent to cause severe emotional distress or acted with reckless disregard of a high probability that such distress would occur.
Well, then they could make the argument that there was a reckless disregard for their credibility.
And that was done intentionally?
Does that mean
intentionally
intentionality?
disregarded.
But it's about reckless disregard, not being intentional, but just that they didn't care enough to stop.
I guess the
themselves.
question is are you able to just claim that and have that be enough and admissible in court, or do you actually have to have some kind of substantial backing evidence or proof?
There was another story similar to this that I was I couldn't remember it off the top of my head, but then it came to me. Netflix's Baby Reindeer legal battle quietly rumbles forward as the series goes after BAFTA glory. This is over a year old now, but I'll read you a little bit of this. Netflix's bitter legal fight over Baby Reindeer is expected to gather pace next month as the Richard Gadd series continues to win awards. Fiona Harvey, a lawyer from Scotland, slapped the world's biggest streamer, I'm going to put this on screen here, with a $170 million defamation lawsuit last year after Baby Reindeer became a global sensation, and she was identified as the show's alleged stalker, played by Jessica Gunning. Harvey claims that the Darkly comic series, which was billed as a true story, portrayed her via the Martha character as a twice-convicted stalker who was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Harvey has never been convicted of stalking. Gadd and she argued that the series was the biggest lie. She had never been convicted of stalking Gadd, and she argued that the series was the biggest lie in television history. The case was widely expected to go to trial next week, which was May 6, 2025. As far as I know, this case still hasn't been solved, but a little reported appeal by Netflix put a halt to proceedings at the Central District Court of California. Yeah, I'm sure Netflix has all the money in the world to just drag these things out until people run out of money.
I mean, they have all that extra money left over from the bidding war that they lost.
Yeah, well, yeah, they got paid by Paramount for being pulled out of the bidding.
Yep. So
It says U.S. District Judge Gary Klausner ruled last September that Harvey's case could proceed because the series was wrongly billed as a true story after Netflix made no effort to fact-check Gadd's experiences and failed to hide Harvey's identity. Days later, Netflix appealed Klausner's ruling, meaning the case is now in the U.S. Court of Appeals, Ninth Circuit. Lawyers for the streaming giant have argued that Harvey's claim fails because she does not allege a provably false statement of fact which was made about her. Netflix added that her reputation has already been tarnished by past news stories detailing her previous harassment and stalking of public figures. So Netflix is consistently going through all this stuff. I suppose this what happens is when you have to adapt enough stories, there's always something that you can do that's going to end up getting you in trouble with somebody suing you. And look, it does happen that a lot of times people do something like this to make a quick buck. But I don't know if that's necessarily the case here.
Well, we're dealing with two Hollywood heavy hitters from back in the day, man. They've spent a lot of time out there, okay? They've got their own media companies, all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And I can tell you guys right now that for the amount of money that they both have, they have lawyers. And when these sorts of things happen, these guys are smart enough to know ahead of time, hey, we should probably check and see what the possible legal ramifications are going to be for us doing something like this. And if the lawyers say, hey, you're good.
Yeah.
They're going to do it. And they're going to take that court case and they're going to go to court and they're going to ride the whole damn thing out for 2 years. And chances are highly likely that the case is going to work out in their favor.
Back in the case of the RIP, it says attorneys for the defendants allegedly responded to the complaint in January upon the film's release, dismissing the concerns as unfounded because the film did not expressly name Sergeant Smith and there was no implication that the plaintiffs engaged in any misconduct in the film. Look, I still think that it's kind of crazy to think that you live in a world now where you could end up in a situation where something interesting happens to you and somebody in Hollywood says, oh, that's kind of fascinating, I'm going to write a movie about it, sensationalize it to the nth degree, and then you're answering questions to family members, friends, and, internal affairs at work because a movie was made that sensationalized your real life regardless of whether it was true or not. It's kind of a scary thing to think about in today's day and age.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. What would you guys like to see, the cringe or the cute? Tough crowd here today. Come on, somebody make up their
Cringe.
mind. Cringe first? Okay.
He looked at me. He's the guest. I was going to let him
I was
choose.
like, I'm just waiting to see what she said.
How bad is
Cringe.
it? How bad is it?
I honestly don't remember. I just picked one of them because I was busy with other stuff. But
Sure, you don't remember.
I think it was pretty bad. I can give you that.
Okay, give me a sec here. Here we go. Okay, it says, if you can't see it, you can't see this lady's insane face. Here we go.
In my mouth right now. Where the fuck's my goddamn server? Oh, there you are now. Give me a fucking cheeseburger. Get in my...
Short but sweet, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, the song goes kind of hard.
The song goes hard, but that's not the cringy part of it.
Mouth right now. Where the...
Her face or her hair is like the dyed purple, but it's fading.
She's also...
fuck's my goddamn server? Oh, there you are now. Give me a fucking cheeseburger.
She's confusing a cheeseburger for a piece of chocolate cake.
It's not
too.
a cheeseburger. That's
not
true.
It is
cheeseburger.
a double chocolate cake.
I mean, that wasn't as bad as some of the cringe.
That's
thank
devil's
goodness.
food.
It was short and sweet. You know what I'm saying? No pun intended. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's do the cute of the day then. Here we go. This one is from Pat the Plumber. Fury must not remember how much she hated her flea baths. A year flies by.
Hi. What a cutie.
That is a very cute cat.
What a cutie patootie.
It's
right.
up to its almost neck in water though. Are those bubbles?
I can't
Is it in a bubble bath or is that just the
I
tub?
think it's
I thought that was just the
fur.
tub before the bath
it's
is
the fur
done.
and then the tub. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, what a baby.
I was gonna say it looks far too content to be sitting in water.
I
right
want
now.
The fur would be mad
I
at
want
if
to
it was in the
hold
water.
and
Well,
just
if you just set it in there and it sat down and
Yeah.
just chilled, you know.
Chloe will do that. No, Chloe has definitely sat in the bathtub before, and Chloe hates baths. Woo! Had to give her a bath one time. Never again.
My roommate's cat tries to go in my bathtub all the time, and I'm like, why do you want to go in there?
They want to drink the water. At least that's what Chloe does.
I let
Chloe
him in there
takes
one
to drink
time,
the
and then I
water.
turned it on, and he never went back in there again. He's like, oh,
Yeah, there you
fuck that.
go.
Pat
There
the
you go.
I'm sorry, Pat the Plumber. Pop Culture Junkie sent a 20, said there are lawyers at Netflix that can recite all the case law for, quote, reckless disregard standard in their sleep.
Yep.
I bet. All right.
Yes, sir.
Somebody in the chat also asked, how did Netflix offend everyone? Well, it wasn't Netflix per se. What we're actually looking at here is the likes of Pete Davidson and Tony Hinchcliffe. They're the ones offending everyone. Let's get into it.
Yeah, so as you guys know, there was the Kevin Hart roast that debuted on Netflix over the weekend. And Pete Davidson was on this, among other comedians, where he made a joke about Charlie Kirk being assassinated. And we're not going to play the clip because if we do,
Netflix,
it will get struck. He said, Tony reminds me of Charlie Kirk and that he's definitely been on camera letting a guy unload in his throat.
That was the joke.
Now, we've talked a lot on this channel about how desensitized people are to people getting shot in the neck or killed in any regard.
Well, we talked last week about the Charlie Kirk prom trend.
Yes, and before that, there was something else Charlie Kirk related.
The Charlie Kirk prom trend wasn't comedy per se, though. The Charlie Kirk prom trend was just a reckless disregard
the unseriousness
for the correct
of that. So, of course, we can remember that. We know obviously Charlie Kirk was shot, and he is among other people like Tony Hinchcliffe, I can never say his name, who have been kind of in the same circles. And he said, "Oh, you don't know me to kill Tony." He said, "Yeah, kill Tony." And I'm not going to say the next part because it's kind of a call for violence, even if it's a joke, and I don't want it to get demonetized for that. Please, blah, 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 with his name.
Please do,
yeah,
basically.
Right, basically, yeah. And that was a huge problem, obviously. And then he also took a shot at Kanye West saying, Tony, nothing you say tonight will hurt my feelings. I was in beef with Kanye, so I've taken shots from better gay Nazis.
And also then Tony Hinchcliffe had his joke.
Yes, I was about to go on to that.
George Floyd.
I was going to say, then Tony Hinchcliffe goes on and makes a George Floyd joke. Now we're going to highlight all of these to show you guys how people have been outraged on either side. Tony Hinchcliffe said, the black community is so proud of you. Right now, George Floyd is looking up at us laughing so hard he can't breathe.
Jokes all around.
Right, at everyone's expense. And of course, the right's like, LOL, this is so funny. But not the Charlie Kirk one, which again, I don't think either were even that funny. Honestly, I really don't think either were that funny. Oh, you can't breathe. If that hasn't been a joke,
if you laughed at one, you better have been able to laugh at both. That's all.
Well, okay, no, you don't have to laugh at both, but you have to accept that another person may find one of the jokes funny, but not the other one.
I'll go with that.
And it's a matter of whether you're intellectually consistent about both.
I just don't think either are funny.
Now, the argument that most people are going to make, if they are offended,
distasteful, for
like
sure.
if they are offended or find the Charlie Kirk joke distasteful, it's going to be because they're going to make some type of value judgment against the kind of person that George Floyd was versus the kind of person they believe that Charlie Kirk was, and they'll say that one was deserving of being made fun of and the other one wasn't, which isn't really how comedy works.
Yep.
And again, there needs to be consistency there.
Yeah, and there's not, right? There's a big lack of consistency. Well, we have it here. Jeff Ross said that the roast of Kevin Hart was a, quote, real testament to free speech. Last night, there were jokes about very provocative subjects handled by professionals. Shut up. He didn't say shut up. That's me. It was a real testament to free speech because people were saying whatever they wanted. That wasn't just the conservative white guys. That was the liberals, too. And sometimes you can't even tell who's who. And that's when jokes have the most impact. Okay, well, we know who's who, first of all. That's not even close to fact. And he's saying that wasn't just the conservative white guys. Does he mean saying the jokes or being offended by the jokes?
Did he say the left and right act the same?
Yeah. The thing about it is like I laughed at this because I was like, well, if it's free speech, it needn't be handled by professionals.
Right. Why do you have to say? Oh,
I found that very, very, very telling. In a weird way.
Just compare it to citizen journalism.
Yeah.
Hey, we found the Boston bomber. Whoops, it's not him.
And
literally, literally.
Thanks, guys.
A lot of people were making their own judgments of these specials. And guys, don't take our words on these jokes about whether you find them funny or not. Go watch them yourselves, because when they're being reiterated by us, obviously it's not going to hit for you because we're not the comedians.
For sure.
But the point is they were like, a lot of this didn't even seem like jokes. It just seemed like they were saying something mean and then saying, but it's a joke. But they still do count as jokes. It's just whether you find them clever or not. Yeah. And that was kind of the point that I was making yesterday. I had a tweet about Scary Movie 6 where they made a pronoun joke and nobody laughed. At least when I went to see Mortal Kombat and I saw the trailer, nobody laughed because pronoun jokes haven't been funny
for a long time
because they're still being billed as edgy, and they're not edgy. Now, somebody responded to me and said, look at all these people who have been fired recently for making pronoun jokes. I said, I'm not talking about everyday people in the real world. I'm saying comedians as a whole pretending, meaning that people whose job it is to be funny. Pretending as if pronoun jokes are somehow still edgy means that they're not, because it's about as safe of a joke as you can tell these days.
Yeah.
You can't really do... Now, Netflix may be the only example here recently where this could qualify maybe as a bit transgressive, but that's about the edge of it. For the most part, and as I pointed out yesterday on this show, for these jokes to make it, they did rehearsals for this stuff. Like, this stuff doesn't just get said off the top of someone's head. That's why people loved WWE back in the day, because all the performers were coked out of their mind on a bunch of steroids and were sent out to just say crazy shit a lot of times on their promos. This stuff was all pre-rehearsed, which means that it went through a writer. After a writer, it went through HR. After HR,
writer.
it went through another writer. Yeah. After that, it went through legal. So it's very hard to sell edgy to anyone anymore when they know that it's all edgy on behalf of major corporation with their own investors and backers and all of that stuff. So it doesn't really work that way. If you want to see actual edgy humor, you kind of have to go to people who make comedy on their own, where they actually do run the risk of running afoul of people without the corporate backing and the lawyers and all of the things involved with that. And when it comes to people being offended here, I think that it's everybody needs to just accept that you're going to have to, if comedy will survive, there's going to be distasteful jokes made at the expense of people that you support, just like there will be distasteful jokes made against the people that you don't support.
And as kind of like a caveat to that, it's on purpose. These guys know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're professional comedians, whether you think so or not, whether you don't think they're funny or not. They know what kind of backlash they're going to receive for the things that they are going to be saying publicly and in the spotlight. And I can promise you right now, these guys did these jokes in a bite that they knew would get picked up.
Yes, 100% yes. And both sides have been very upset by this. So it's not just one or the other. So I don't know who this guy is. His name is Lil Rel, I guess. He's a rapper. He said, "Boo that MFer and walk out," referring to Tony Hinchcliffe for the George Floyd joke.
Yes.
Again, performative and annoying. He said, let me find where his actual statement is here, saying he found the moment very disgusting and he wondered what he would have done had he been there, but he's pretty sure he already knows. And
does that mean he would have walked out, or he would have like gone up on stage and like confronted?
He left it open to,
yeah,
I probably would have shot him, but I can't say that. So
yeah, so family and friends of Floyd said that they were both really upset and disgusted, but with both Hinchcliffe and Kevin Hart for the moment, saying that they should have told him not to bring up that topic. Look, it is what it is.
You can't do an all holds barred match and then say, "Oh, except for this one hold, you can't do this one."
Yeah, that's.
You mean
that's
a no hold
or no holds barred? Did I say all holds barred? Holy shit!
You can't make any jokes
except for this one. Yeah,
not a single one.
And of course, now they're trying to pull on your heartstrings, saying George's daughter Gianna, who is 12 years old, was 6 at the time of her father's death. Saying the George Floyd Foundation, I don't even know what the hell they do there, but a rep for the foundation said that she is being bullied in school, so it's like the jokes aren't helping. I mean, look, no one was like saying this joke again, it's really going to bully this 12-year-old kid, and people shouldn't be bullying a 12-year-old girl for who her dad is.
It is also funny because all the clips are people talking about other people and not Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Like nobody's like it doesn't feel like anybody was actually roasting Kevin Hart. They were roasting literally everybody else. Like yesterday, the whole thing was about Chelsea Handler arguing with
Dude.
Who was it that she was arguing with yesterday? I already forgot that was me. Oh, it was Shane Gillis.
Shane Gillis, yeah.
You're right 100% because I think, was it Pete? I think it was Pete. I don't remember if it was Pete or if it was Tony. One of them made a nod at the end of it. Oh, yeah, and to Kevin Hart, love you, bro. Much respect. You've been nothing but a nice guy.
Yeah, you've done
Have a great night. Hope you're enjoying your roast. You know, like,
yeah. Look,
what the hell? Like,
the thing that I don't understand is why at a lot of these ones they roast other comedians and not the person they're there to roast. Like, it's just so performative. It's like you're all there to roast Kevin Hart. Why are you roasting each other?
Well, like when it first started out, they used to, okay, we're roasting the main guy, but guess what? We're bringing up a whole panel of people that are going to roast this person. Feel free to roast the people on the panel because we want their expressions to happen live, so everybody go, "Oh my god, he just got fucked up."
I mean, fair,
well,
but
they
it's
made
still
the point
like...
that when Shane Gillis made the jokes about Chelsea Handler, they did not switch to like they did not show her reaction.
Oh, of course not, because she was probably pissed.
Yeah.
And someone responded to this quote on X, and he said, "You're a piece of crap.
Yes.
I'm going to censor myself. You're a piece of crap human if you make George Floyd jokes. I don't care if you're a comedian or not. So that was another person who responded to that. There have also been responses to the joke made about Charlie Kirk from Pete Davidson. We have one here from someone named Legacy American who said, absolute human filth. Karma will take care of Pete Davidson one day when he has to answer for every sin. People like him burn in the lake of fire for all of eternity. All these Hollywood dirtbags are human scum. Some strong words there.
Does he believe that is true of Tony Hinchcliffe for making the jokes about George Floyd, or is it just...
That begs the question. There's another person, Paul, who said, yeah, this is truly horrific. Pete Davidson should never be hired again anywhere. What he said wasn't a joke, and it certainly wasn't funny. Shame on him.
That's the difference, though. So then you get into the subjective nature of comedy, what you consider to be a joke and what you consider to be funny.
Right.
This is also a side effect of the internet and the fact that, like, now one of the reasons people get so upset about everything is, like, you're now clued into subcultures and places you just never would have known about before. So you wouldn't have any idea that this stuff was going. I mean, this on obviously because it's on Netflix, but now you're just privy to a whole. Because the reason men and women are always fighting is because women are sharing their private thoughts on men that they would have normally shared with their friends, their other girlfriends. Now they're just sharing it on their social media accounts, and so the guy is having like unfettered access to a woman's like worst thoughts about a dude and men's worst thoughts about women, when normally you wouldn't have access to that before.
Yeah, so there was someone wrote a whole tweet here. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but from Rav Aurora. It doesn't look like Aurora, but I guess it's Aurora. These right-wingers are turning into the woke left circa 2016, policing the bounds of comedy. I made the point in my post 2 days ago that the abundance of risque jokes at the Kevin Hart roast showed how the woke left has been defeated. Shane Gillis literally said Kevin Hart was so short that he would be...
lynched.
I don't know if we can say
lynched
that. Okay.
by a bonsai tree.
On a bonsai tree. I didn't want to say it if we weren't supposed to say it.
He actually made a lynching joke.
Yes.
But Kevin thanked him on IG video after being such a great roaster.
Holy shit.
That's hilarious. Yet here I'm seeing prominent conservative influencers whining about Pete Davidson's wild joke mentioning Charlie Kirk. Guys, are you woke now? Do you realize how many people roasted Pete Davidson because his dad died on 9/11 as a firefighter?
Which is funny because the last time this topic came up, me and Mary were talking about it, and I think I brought up, I said, like, 9/11 jokes have been very much acceptable for a very long time, and the actual point she made was that it's not about an individual, it's more about the absurdity of a mass casualty event, and, you know, kind of tying it into America's former cultural identity.
Right, but good luck telling that to the people who actually lost people.
But this is actually going into the more serious route of actually making it about somebody who specifically lost their lives on 9/11, which is very,
one of
very
the jokes
risky.
they made, you're somehow getting girls your dad actually deserved, was a joke. Said I did a podcast after Kirk's death with Aubrey Marcus calling for collective mourning. But here I'm going to defend Pete for making this joke. There were dozens of vile jokes beneath the belt. Stop being such a snowflake and let these comedians push moral boundaries and make transgressive jokes. It's their job. He spelled "there" wrong. That's okay. I hate when people do that. That was just like, if I didn't agree with what this guy was saying, that would have just pissed me off even more. But I do agree with what this guy is saying, that I don't agree with the joke. I don't think it's funny to make fun of people who were either assassinated or killed in a terrorist attack. When we make 9/11 jokes, I don't think we're making jokes at the expense of the people who died. It's about, again, you can make the stretch and be like, well, the result was that people died. Sure, whatever. But that's not the goal of the joke being made. And I think that's where things are getting lost in translation. But Pete Davidson, so he went on to Theo Von's show and they talked about his dad dying in 9/11 and he made jokes about it. I think it's entirely fair for Pete Davidson to make as many jokes as he wants about his dad dying, just like I think it's fair for me to make jokes about my mom dying.
In the chat, Little Red says, Charlie was a specific person, not a mass casualty. That's the point. They're talking about Pete Davidson's dad, which is a specific person, not about the whole of the event. And I also see Mike in the chat says, Charlie is too soon, not even a year, but the rest, yes.
Yeah, but he was a kid when his dad, like he was a little boy when his dad died. That is so messed up. Like the amount of trauma that he probably still carries because he was at a very young developmental age. it'd be like, I guess, Charlie's Kids in however many years.
To my point
years.
about Charlie Kirk is like, the thing is, like, in the age of the internet, there is no cooling off period anymore. It's everything to the internet is now fair game
immediately
as soon as it happens. And you can have an argument, and certainly there is definitely a discussion to be made about what is respectful and what isn't. I think that that's absolutely fair. But the fact of the matter is that the internet does not cool off anymore, and it's almost like it's like a side effect of what used to be a weekly news cycle, then a 24-hour news cycle. Now your news is instantaneous constantly, and this is just a side effect of that. Everybody is jaded, and everybody is sort of kind of numb to what all of this means. Is that a good thing? You could definitely make the argument that it's probably not a good thing for us as a society to become more callous to tragedy, but it is the world that we live in now, for better or worse.
Yeah, look, I don't like the jokes. I think people like to conflate us saying that it's not okay, but it's like fair to make those jokes, are going to conflate it with us saying, oh, well, it's a good thing they made that joke.
I would say
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
The Charlie joke, actually, it suffers more from just not really being funny or executed.
That was
well.
really...
Like, and
that's the other thing, is it's just not that funny.
Yeah.
But look,
the Floyd joke wasn't really all that funny either.
No,
like,
it
was
wasn't.
all just kind of mediocre, and it's like,
Yeah.
but the thing is, that's kind of the point that I was making before, is like, what we've noticed is that after the period of time in which it felt like actual edgy humor was no longer acceptable, and now we've worked our way to back to this period where edgy humor is once again acceptable. What's happened is they've given up trying to make it clever and just gone with saying the most offensive thing they can and letting that settle for being the joke. There's a reason why Ryan Long's bit about Nazis and woke people is funny, because it's actually clever and kind of shines a light. Did you ever see that skit? It's like the Nazi and the woke person, they believe the same things. It's horseshoe theory, and it turns into a skit. It's funny because it's clever, but now people are just doing edgy stuff without needing to be clever because they don't feel like they have to, because they just want to say the most offensive thing.
Skip straight to the Tootsie.
Exactly.
Chewy center, the Tootsie Pop, yeah.
Yeah, so let me just quickly, before we move on to the next subject, the interesting thing about these jokes is that some jokes were actually cut. Not these ones, but other jokes. They're saying Kevin Hart roast jokes about Lizzo's weight, Me Too, and Riyadh Comedy Festival were cut from the special.
So Lizzo's weight is a
Lizzo
bridge
was
too
there,
far.
by the way.
Yeah.
So here are some of the ones that
because
were
everyone
cut.
runs to defend her anytime anyone makes a joke.
Well,
To
they
be
might
fair,
not be running, but they're trying.
They don't make a point of saying that they were cut for being offensive. They just say they were cut.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but like, you know why.
I can imagine that the stuff
Lizzo
about
This one's not going to
there.
be popular, and this one's going to be so unpopular that it's going to be overly popular.
Okay, Lizzo
Let's do
was
this
there.
one.
Lizzo was present, but what they were going to say is Lizzo broke barriers when she danced as a stripper in Hustlers, mostly because they weren't properly enforced.
She almost broke
I
the
would
damn
say-
stage.
so I could believe-
No, see? I can
would
crack a joke.
believe it works. I would believe that the Lizzo joke was just cut because it wasn't all that good. The one about Saudi Arabia.
I'm working on it. The Saudi
yeah.
Arabia one's hilarious, but the Me Too one, Kevin is one of the few comedians without a single allegation. When he found out about Me Too movement, he was shocked. He was like, people are saying no to things? That one's funny. That is funny. And then the last one was, Kevin, I was so disappointed when you did the Riyadh Comedy Festival because on a human rights level, no one should be forced to listen to your comedy sober.
That is
clever. Hilarious.
Yeah. And
because
I don't
if you
think
know,
even
but I
that-
think they were like, we don't want to piss off Saudi Arabia.
I don't know if that one would have. Like,
I don't
the
think
more think about
I'm
it,
not
like,
saying it would have. I'm
yeah.
just saying that's probably their argument is like, don't even test it right now. With
I
everything
know
in the
that
Middle
they are
East.
very touchy about that stuff.
With everything going on in the Middle East, I can understand, but it's just one of those things where, oh my gosh, it's so fun. That's funny to me. It's on a human rights level. No one should be forced to listen to your comedy sober. It's so funny that I would have actually laughed at that one as opposed to either of the other two.
Yep.
Like the George Floyd one's not funny. Oh, he's in hell and he couldn't breathe. Like, I never found what happened to George Floyd to be amusing. Regardless of cause of death, I never found it to be amusing that a man was so terrified in his final moments. That's heartbreaking. Regardless of what happened, it was very sad to watch a man be so terrified, and then that is the last thing he felt on this earth.
I just
That's
think
sad.
that the
That's not
jokes were
funny.
poorly executed.
I don't think they were even good jokes, and they were poorly executed. It's both of those things.
Yep. All right. That being said, let's move on. We've got more stuff to get into today.
Sorry, I forgot this was my topic as well.
That's okay. Happen. You know, the worst is
I'm
like
so used to like it being every other that I just
Yes.
was like, okay, it's Brett's turn, so I was ready to just like coast for a second.
we are going to talk about beta moms.
Or as the Guardian calls them, beta mums.
Beta mums.
Beta mums.
Beta mums in it.
They're messy, chaotic, and nowhere near Instagram. I'm going to do the whole thing in a British accent. The days of helicopter parenting, where raising a child was seen as a competitive sport, may now be over thanks to the looming threat of AI. It could be good news for everybody involved. These mums are aged 25 to 45. They're carefree, at peace, and only vaguely aware of all the jelly beans maybe stuck in their hair from their kids. And they say that they are not basically a alpha mum who...
So what makes somebody an alpha mom?
An alpha mum is somebody who goes and works and also is kind of a helicopter mum.
And you're replying in the accent too now. That's great.
So they're both they're a full-time working mom, but also a helicopter parent.
Yes, they're one of the, like a PTA mum almost.
Now, what's helicopter? Just because they have to hover constantly?
They're right
Is that what
there.
that is?
They're
Like,
always looking at what you do, and they're like, we don't want you to be... It's like someone always looking over your shoulder, no privacy, no door on your bedroom at the house.
Overprotective.
So they are, yes, very overprotective, overbearing, saying basically what a beta mum is someone who has that messy aesthetic, right? A very messy aesthetic. And they have a very much, they are in their own world. It's more of a hands-off
But you were saying that the thing here was that they're not social media obsessed.
Yes,
like
they're not one of these mums who goes on and they're very much, it's Instagrammable. It's very much, look at my beige house with my wooden toys and my children. It's my house is kind of a big mess.
Mom
my house
look
is
at all
a
my
mess.
normal shit that I kind of pay
flat-
attention to sometimes every day.
My flat is bad. My hair is a mess. My kids are running all over the place. I got one somewhere else, and so it really is something. It's more like what we used to have.
Eat some beans and toast or something.
It's Tuesday, isn't it? And so that's one of those things. Well, I said I was going to do the whole thing in this accent, and I'm going to stick to it because I've already committed to it.
You didn't do that part in the accent.
I've committed to the bit.
Nope.
So I'm going to continue. It's hard to keep it going. So they're saying that in the age of mums who are way too overbearing and way too much putting their children online, which is a big problem, by the way, we've seen this. It's good to have the mum who does not do that. It's good to have the mum who just doesn't let social media get in the way of her parenting.
Do you think it has something to do with the fact that they're saying like you don't put your kids online at all, as opposed to the ones who post their kids, but then they post like a sticker over their face?
I mean, I think that if you really want to post your kid, you got to do it with the sticker over the face. But I don't know. People are saying "oi, oi" in the chat. But yes, I would say I really like the idea of beta mum. I like it. I know they're saying, there's another article we have here where they're saying it's a bit performative, it's a bit overdone.
I think having a name for
signaling.
it is a bit
I don't think
performative.
that the beta mums name themselves beta mums. I think that was something that people came up with because everything has to have a title now.
It says one reason for this trend is the increasing precarity of the white-collar achievement mill. Why get the grades and do all those extracurriculars to get into a top-tier college if you won't get a job afterwards anyways? Another is the likelihood of superachievement leading to childhood burnout, which is a very real problem. There's also maternal burnout, made worse by all the mothers now trying to juggle working from home and childcare. And then, of course, there is feminism. Supposedly unnecessary, overdone childcare time competes with other women's objectives.
Yeah, so there's quite a lot in this story that I think is interesting. I think people getting upset about it is actually really weird. To be like, it's virtue signaling.
I think you can surrender the accent once you're done reading the article.
Brett's like, can you not do that?
Doing
Can you not? I can go full Southern for you if you want.
Please don't do that.
But they are saying that one reason for this trend is the increasing precarity of, did you read this part, the white collar achievement? You just read that part?
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't hear the one reason part and was like, boop. So they're saying hands-on parenting isn't a thing. It's hands-off parenting. It's gentle parenting. I'm trying to get back into the American accent without messing it up now. The beta mom is a tiger in sheep's clothing. I mean, look, I think they're trying to title it to something that really doesn't need to be. They're giving it like a title and a trend where it's just every parent I know is pretty much a beta mom. I don't mean that in a mean way, but they don't always have their house in pristine condition, and sometimes things are messy and kids are running around in diapers and another one's naked and they don't know how that happened because they've got multiple kids, and these are still full-time moms. They're at home, they're not working, the dad is working. I can think of one person, I'm not going to say their name, but it's very much one of those things where you, as a mom, you're just a normal mom, but they're putting a name to it because you have these Instagram moms with the beige and the wood toys and the literally no color in the house, whereas...
And women have that problem where they kind of have to live in this world where they're constantly comparing themselves to one another.
Well, you know what? The way I think about this, do you guys remember that story of the mom that made the girl get the beige Build-A-Bear because the tie-dye Build-A-Bear was too colorful for the house?
Yep.
The mom that lets the girl get the tie-dye Build-A-Bear even though it doesn't match her room or something, that's a beta mom. The one that made the daughter get the beige one because it looks better on Instagram is the alpha mom in this scenario, right? I would prefer to be a beta mom every day. I want my kids to be happy. If my kid likes the really ugly Build-A-Bear, my kid's getting the ugly Build-A-Bear because they like it, okay? It's not hurting anybody, and it's actually probably going to be really cute in 20 years, and they're like, I can't believe I picked this thing, and I'm like, yeah, I know. I told you not to, but you didn't listen to me, because who listens to their mom when they're like 5? So I think that having, I don't know, to me, it's one of those things where... I don't know. Again, why are we putting names on things that don't need to be?
I think the bigger issue here is more the fact that the women run this risk of comparing themselves to one another all the time, right? It's like, so the aesthetic that's created by women online is mostly done by people who have learned how to monetize turning their social media platform into something that they can actually turn into actual revenue.
And I get that. I understand that.
And then you get into like what we talk about trad wives and all the things that come with that. It's all very performative. It's all very curated and done for the sake of clicks online, which means the focus isn't on the children. The focus is on how the content will look to people that aren't their kids.
It shouldn't matter to you. How you parent your kids and raising your kids in a stable household is more important than how many likes you get on Instagram or how many likes you get on TikTok. I think it's really weird to put your kids, like I have strayed away from ever wanting any kind of content that has kids in it on my feed.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want that. If someone's like showing their kid, I'm always like, and I scroll past it because it's clearly scripted and it's clearly like there's this one creator I can think of. I followed her for a while and then she made her whole channel about how her daughter's very cute. She's got these big eyes and she's got like all curious and these cute little bangs and she's adorable, right? Kid's adorable. But now her whole thing is like about this kid because the kid is very, I guess, I don't know if you call it like.
Which is the idea here that they're getting like she's getting lots of traction making content.
Yes, of her kid, which is gross.
Yeah.
You're putting your kid out there and monetizing them, and it's bad enough when they do it to child actors, but at least that industry has some kind of standards for the most part that's upheld, where social media is kind of a free-for-all. And it's like that one post where they said, oh, I put a picture of my kids but then I deleted it because it had bookmarks on it. Yeah. People are freaking weird. If you put your kid's face online, I'm sorry, I know a lot of people don't, might not share this belief. We're specifically asking, like, I know my stepmom's going to want to share pictures of her grandkids one day. I love that. I'm going to ask her to send those pictures to people directly if she wants people to see it, because I just don't know who's going to see it and share it, and I'd rather know everyone who has access to a photo like that.
Yeah.
And it's because people are creepy. People are... I can't. It's really gross. It gives me the ick. There's a reason Phil doesn't post his baby's face out there ever. There's a reason that you'll never see a picture of Tim's kid. There are plenty of reasons for all of that, and every last one of them has to do with the fact that people are
I like the
creepy.
point that they made that the dads have always been beta dads, which was just a feminist dig at dads, saying that the dads are always messy and don't care about their kids, perhaps, is what they're saying.
I don't know. Actually. They're saying that, like, basically being a stay-at-home mom that doesn't always get to juggle everything is somehow a trend. And it's like, that's just being a parent.
We're just kind of living in like a pre and post social media world where there are still some people just still understand the value in not posting everything online.
Yeah, I
right?
agree. Big agree.
In a lot of ways.
Big ups.
And I don't think that the beta mom is a bad thing. In fact, I think like leaning into it, just don't give it a name.
I mean, don't give it a name, and
that's
don't
where
have to
I
post
have
it
issues
online,
with it. It's like, just stop naming shit.
Basically, like, and I don't think the moms did that. I think that was something that people did because they're not online. So how would they have named it themselves? They didn't do that. This is something that people have named.
Naming is for people who want recognition for something.
Exactly. And these moms don't necessarily care. Again, I bring up my friend. She has 3 kids, pregnant with her 4th, and I'm very excited. Congratulations. You know what? She's not going to care. If you guys know Bree in the chat, fear me, it's Bree. She's one of our good friends. She, her and her husband traveled for our wedding from Maine to Michigan. We were very excited to see them. They are, expecting their 4th, and they have 3. And she'll send me random videos, and it's just chaos. Because she's got her daughter is just, I love her daughter. She's so cute. She's all over the place, and it's really funny. She's just like, I don't know how this happened, but she's somehow running around in her underwear. And I'm like, I love that for you guys. But it's not always clean, and that's how parenthood is. It shouldn't be aesthetic.
Yep. All right, let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. Also, guys, we're about halfway to a second crisis party. Just a heads up, all of you guys. Let's talk about Gen Z. So I don't think that this will come as a shock to really anyone, but what we have noticed as a society here in America is that with each new generation, there seems to be less and less patriotism amongst that generation of people. And this is an article, put it on screen here, from Newsweek. It says U.S. Gen Z and young millennials less patriotic than older generations. This was a poll they did. As the United States approaches its 250th anniversary in July, new national polling suggests that patriotism, long considered a shared civic value, has become increasingly divided by both generation and political party. This institute conducted a survey by Morning Consult in April, found that younger Americans, namely Gen Z and millennials, were significantly less likely to describe themselves as patriotic than older generations. This age-based divide in patriotism could have long-term consequences for civic participation, party alignment, and national cohesion. It's a look at what they're doing here. It says, how patriotic do you consider yourself? Very patriotic, somewhat patriotic, not very patriotic, not patriotic at all, and then don't know and have no opinion.
Patriotic, question mark?
Yes. It says, why it matters. National identity has long been one of the few broadly shared traits across party lines, but recent polling suggests that consensus cannot be taken for granted, especially among younger Americans. Meanwhile, an age gap in patriotism signals deeper shifts in political socialization. So before we get into the rest of it, that is a very, very important part of this. One of the reasons why people believe there is so much political polarization is that back in the day, Democrats and Republicans were a lot closer to one another on what they believe outside of certain wedge issues, and they always had national identity and love of country as something that could bond them together, obviously to varying degrees, but this has changed a lot over the last several decades. A lot of it has to do with college, what is taught in colleges, which is decidedly taken in a lot of ways a very anti-American stance to our country's own history. So what we see now is a Republican Party that produces a much higher result of people saying that they are patriotic towards this country, no matter who's in office, and a left-wing party that says that they're ashamed of America, they're ashamed of what America stands for, and they're ashamed of where America came from. And it starts really with age gap here. A clear age gap in patriotism. The finding comes from the Desert News/Hinckley Institute of Politics, and the survey was consulted. It says, nationally, 69% of respondents said that they were either somewhat or very patriotic. Matthew Wilson, an associate professor at Southern Methodist University, described the figure as low, calling it an unfortunate development that has emerged relatively recently. Young Americans aged 18 to 34, 56% of them said that they were somewhat or very patriotic. That rises to 61% amongst those ages 35 to 44 and 67% amongst those 45 to 64. Among the oldest cohorts, levels are markedly higher, with 86% of them describing themselves as patriotic. Taken together, the data shows a clear generational gradient. Each successive age group reports higher levels of patriotism than the one below it, as seen in the chart above. And then there's the partisan divide. The poll found a very clear gap across party lines, with Republicans significantly more likely than Democrats to describe themselves as patriotic. Nationally, 82% of Republican respondents said that they were either somewhat or very patriotic, compared to 61% of Democrats. I'm even surprised by the 61% of Democrats, which is a 21-point difference. The findings point to a broader political divide over national identity, underscoring how expressions of patriotism are increasingly shaped by partisanship rather than a remaining shared civic sentiment. Thoughts?
Okay, as a female Gen Z, I'm patriotic. I'm very patriotic. I love my country. I think me and Tate Brown, holding it down, would want to disagree with the fact that maybe Gen Z isn't patriotic, but we do love America. But I see plenty of my fellow Gen Zers not loving this country. Plenty of millennial women, feminists that hate this country, and most of them are Democrats. I can say that right now. There are very few people who are on the right that I would say aren't patriotic. I would say that most of the people on the right, if not all of them, are patriotic. And
it goes back to the sin of the original sin of slavery, and whether you think America was founded on good principles or not, and a lot of them don't. A lot of Democrats don't.
A lot of them, well, they do and they don't. So they like to basically say that, we're colonizers and blah, 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 blah. And they want communism to win out, which is actually more evil than most things, because being an American and wanting to be a communist is way worse, because you already have the freedoms of a democracy or a republic and you want to give those up. And that's what these people want. So I'm not surprised at all by this data. It makes sense. Now, I'm telling you guys right now, I am going to go all out for America 250. July 4th, I'm going to be head to toe red, white, and blue, baby. I am so excited. No matter where we are, I'm going to be head to toe red, white, and blue. I'm going to be repping the stars and stripes, because he's on a call. I freaking love this country. And this country is, it's cheesy, land of the free, home of the brave. That's quite literally true. So
I was thinking about just wearing one solid color this year, and then trying to find two other people that are wearing the other colors, and then we just
stand next to each other. You're gonna look like a French flag.
News team assemble.
So this is what they say is driving the patriotism age gap. Wilson said that the generational divide reflects differences in political upbringing and institutional trust. That is a big one. Younger Americans, he said, have come of age during a time of political polarization, which means they are more disillusioned with national identity and civic institutions. Yeah, there is no trust anymore in our colleges. There's no trust anymore in our government. There is no trust anymore amongst even in the media. There is no trust in all of the pillars of society that kind of held the nation's cohesive nature together. You were shown patriotic things on television. You could have been taught patriotic things in school, and theoretically you'd have a government that had your best interests at heart, and it feels like they failed in every instance.
Yeah, I don't trust the government at all. I don't care who's in power. I don't trust the government.
That is a hallmark of American identity, is to be distrustful of institutions, given how America was founded.
The thing is, you're supposed to be distrustful, and you're supposed to not trust your government or institutions that are created by or funded by the government. That's part of the reason that you're not supposed to trust them. And so I don't trust them. I don't trust the government at all. I actually don't even like the government that much, regardless of who's in power. And the thing is, though, that America is a very resilient country, and in its 250 years, it's had every opportunity not to succeed, and has somehow persevered and given every opportunity to succeed to so many of its citizens. And people who have a victim mentality are stuck in a generation they never lived in. Yep. They are stuck in, for example, the Jim Crow era. There are so many people who think that America is still in the Jim Crow era when it's not. Anyone of any race can do anything they want if they put their mind to it. Circumstances be damned. It doesn't matter. You can make something of yourself without having to. There are so many people that presidents even. Abe Lincoln was born in a log cabin to like a very poor family. He became the president during, wartime and revered as one of the most important presidents of all time. Very important. I don't know about a good president. It's good that the Union won the Civil War, but he did suspend habeas corpus.
Habeas corpus stuff.
Don't love that. Everyone forgets that.
So here's another reason why. So it says education has shifted away in a way that could shape the attitudes towards patriotism. They argued that older generations were more likely to receive what he described as America positive narratives in school. And that is an approach that emphasized pride in national history and institutions as part of a civic socialization. I think that the school system, as millennials and Gen Z have experienced it, that is much less the case, he said, pointing out that a curriculum that he says places greater emphasis on historical shortcomings and systemic challenges.
Right.
Where they once celebrated what America represented and how far it has come, now focuses on all of America's failures and all of the ways in which we still have so much more work to do, which is activist bullshit, because everyone knows that activists do not actually want to solve problems, because the moment you solve a problem, you put yourself out of business.
You can't complain about anything. So yeah, I would say that it is something that they're trying to basically say, oh, America's bad. We've seen this with a lot of the indoctrination that we've seen in public schools and colleges. They want you to hate this country and to fight for something different, because they do not want to put forward an actual future where you have control over your own destiny. They just want you to eat the bugs, live in the pods, and be a communist, basically. And don't do that.
How do we fix it? Let me ask you guys that question. So how do you make the country more patriotic? I saw a chat in there saying, talk about something that young people care about. That's a fair question. Young people don't care about America's cultural identity in a positive way unless it's negative. And this has been going on. They said young millennials in there. I would argue that even elder millennials had the same thing. I noticed that amongst my friends growing up, which was that they didn't seem to appreciate all of which they were granted the beauty of having access to by being born into living in the United States of America. So how do you fix it?
Continuing to instill the values of free thought and not having to fall in line with everything that you hear. Independent thinking, doing your own research, and also making sure that we continue to get married and have babies and have the nuclear family, because that is a big reason. Especially fatherless homes. A lot of kids go out there and they have not so great morals when they go out there because they didn't have that instilled in them. But there is plenty of ways. It's just they're not easy ways.
Free thought, I gotta mildly disagree there, only because I think free thought is one of the things that kills patriotism, because as a country, you are literally constantly trying to either appear to be the best at what you do, or you are deceiving everybody at all times. There's like nowhere in between. Your government 9 times out of 10 is going to suck nowadays. That's just the way that it is, and they don't have your best interest in heart. Like, really. But the
thing is like, so there is no reason to tie government to love of country. Your love of country should be about your fellow citizens.
Right. But look at the way that they've done it in the past, right? Getting to kids at a young age is the biggest thing for everything. Trying to get them when they're still in that sponge phase of just drinking up information. We start these patriots young. JROTC in high school. Things like this. Enlist early. Go into high school, end school early to serve your country sooner. That type of thing. What about football, sports, the national anthem? The F-15s flying over, blowing patriotic smoke.
Take away the black
the flag on the
anthem.
50. Like,
take away the black national anthem.
You're promoting patriotism. Like you want the people that are enjoying football, the biggest sport commodity that America has to offer. Let's make sure that these people are also aware that they need to love their country and their military because of this.
When I said free thought, I'm saying to not be indoctrinated by the schools and not be, and like, again, you're saying in that age where kids are sponges for knowledge, not letting their teachers that are commies just basically take over all of that and all that realm of their brain to be like, okay, we're going to, give them this thought, and then they come home and they're like, Mommy, did you hear about Karl Marx? You're like, whoa, no. Knowing your kids are going to a school that's actually going to benefit them and give them the options to create their, and when I say free thought, I really mean like an ability to think independently of what their teacher says or what the news says, what anyone tells them. They should just have a conversation. I mean, again, I agree with like the flyovers. Nothing gets, I'm like, hell yeah, I love this country. The way I get at a live sports game, like a hockey game, which Brett has seen me at, that's how I feel when they do the flyover. I get that same level of, let's go. I get that same level
America,
of like,
fuck yeah, let's go.
Yeah, like the fact that there are people who don't get so like, hell yeah, I love this country is crazy to me.
Well, so it was when I was growing up. It was the meme was to go the other direction, right? Was to look at those people as kind of lame. At least where the people that I grew up with, they kind of laughed at those people as being country bumpkins or people that were out of the times. And it's actually kind of true in a way that for the most part, society is finding its way back to patriotism, or at least in my opinion, society is finding its way back to patriotism because Hollywood pushed an anti-American stance for so long that now the shoe is on the other foot.
What you want is for it to happen organically too, because that's the kind of patriotism that lasts, right?
Yep.
Like you don't want these just, you know, blanket instances of patriotism that are just quickly washed out by anti-patriots, you know, that are constantly just abusing the privilege of being here and being part of this, you know. But it is what it is. I know this guy thinks that I blanketly just said that free thought is bad. That's not what I was saying at all. I was saying that if you're a country who's trying to brainwash its people into supporting it, the last thing you want is them thinking for themselves.
Yeah, no, and I agree. I could have phrased it better. I was trying to say like independent thinking more so than anything. Maybe not free thought, but independent thought. I really,
they can kind of go together.
Yeah,
in that scenario, they can kind of
yeah.
go together. Yeah.
I want people to be able to think for themselves and do their own research and have those skills, because that's how people will actually learn the truth. And I think so much of the right has the truth on their side, especially with history. We see history for what it is, but we're also like, okay, yeah, maybe there are not some not so great parts of our history, but this country is so resilient that it actually makes us better because we've gotten through that era of our country and we've come out better for it.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is people, like, when they talk about the education being focused on the shortcomings of America, they focus on how bad things used to be rather than focusing on just how great things are now in comparison.
Yeah, I really do love this country. I feel so blessed to even have been born in this country in the first place, because we are a small fraction, despite the fact there's 330 million people in this country. There are 8 billion people in the world, and that's a lot of people to not have been born in this country, and a lot of people that want to come to this country to have a better life. There's a reason people want to come here for a better life of all the countries in the world, and I consider myself very lucky every day to have been born in a country that I can say what I want on this podcast and not feel like I'm going to have to go to jail later. My whole family's going to be rounded up and killed. We're very blessed to have that. So the fact people can call this out and feel unpatriotic, they should feel patriotic for the fact they don't feel patriotic. Like, that sounds really weird and counterintuitive, but they should be happy that they have the ability to do that and to say that in this country, because there are so many countries where that would not fly.
It's Jimmy Kimmel that makes me patriotic. I listen to Jimmy Kimmel talk.
So if anyone knows,
reiterating back to this, it's like what the hell was I just gonna say? That's like comparing that to somebody that's wearing America as like a band shirt but doesn't know any of their songs.
Yeah.
All
right, let's go to Super Chats, ladies and gentlemen. We do have some to get through here. We're like a little bit over halfway to a second crisis party. Let's get there, folks. This one from Shane H. Wilder says, happy Taco Tuesday, Dasovics and Brandon. I saw Sheep Detectives last night and loved it. We really need more family movies that are fun for adults and kids. Yes! You guys should go see the Sheep Detectives.
It was so good.
It was so good.
Mortal Kombat was a family movie.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, bud.
when I posted about how great the Sheep Detectives was, somebody left a comment that said, "Nah, bring your 4-year-old to Mortal Kombat."
Let's go.
Let's go.
You want to teach patriotism?
Shane H. Wild. Well, yeah, that's Earth patriotism. That's love of planets.
No,
love of your realm.
Love your realm.
They're gonna take that to mean global government.
Defend your realm.
Do that.
Love of realm.
No!
It's not about global government. It's about preventing Shao Kahn and the forces of Outworld from taking over your country. Shao Kahn is the Marxists and the communists.
He's won 9 times. He cannot be allowed to win a 10th. Or it's all of our
I
asses.
got a question about that. and this is just the way my brain works. When they talked about Shao Kahn has won 9 tournaments in a row, and if they win the 10th, they get to take over Earth. Does that mean that there have only been 9 tournaments, or that in all the history of tournaments, there have been tons of them? It just so happens that right now is the time where they've won 9 in a row.
The beginning.
Have they won 9 in a row before, and then lost one, and then had to start over?
I believe he's conquered other realms the exact same way. I'm with you in a sense of I'd have to probably look it up to find out, but I don't think they've ever been defeated. I think match 10 out of 10 was the first time they've ever lost.
Okay. Pulled that one out.
I could be mistaken, but I feel like that's how it carried out. Okay. And it was just one of those things like, okay, this is it. Everybody else has succumbed. This is our last chance to not be like everyone else. And
Shane H. Wilder says, I'm going on a secret mission from the Wednesday, May 27th through Monday, June 1st. I can't talk about it for OPSEC reasons. I think he said sec ops reasons, but I think he mean OPSEC reasons.
Okay. Good to know.
Good luck, though, my friend. Corey Anderson says, Girls Gone Wild was a good commercial.
It's my first time.
I don't know what that is.
Freaking Corey.
Shane H. Wilder. Shane H. Wilder says,
good answer.
Okay, waking up at 3 a.m. to a world where time drifts slowly, a world where music carries you away as Enya sings Sail Away over an ad for Pure Moods. Yes. Yep. Or Return to Innocence by Enigma. Yeah, it's good stuff. Flowbell says, the best late night is Graham Norton's show. 4 celebrities, 1 musical act all together. The host doesn't do much work, and they're allowed to drink. That seems like the good life. Right there. Shane H. Wilder says, I did not let my mom down. I have you know I bought her a burger, fries, and chocolate shake, what she wanted, and a stuffed kitty.
But you didn't buy her a handmade OCD stuffed kitty, and that's where you messed up, buddy.
That's a good point.
OCD stuffed kitty?
Well, my initials are OCD.
Ah,
and
okay. I didn't. That
animals,
wasn't made clear.
yeah.
Okay. I was like, what's so OCD about the kitty being stuffed? Was it like meticulously?
No, it's just made by me.
All right, no, yep, for sure, got it.
All right, we got some Rumble rants. Let me get to them here. Yes, this one from Fire Hazard said, I miss the days when all these late night shows acted like it was the WCW versus the WWF Monday Night Wars. Watch us, no one else. Now all the shows are the same. Greg Duvier, YouTube didn't like this. Why YouTube didn't let you say that? But you are correct. Like, it was always better. Like, wrestling got worse when WWE won and WCW went out of business and there was no competition. It's similarly bad on late night talk shows because they don't feel any desire to compete with one another. They just all schmooze and like one another. It's a big club,
honestly,
and you're not in it with Stephen Colbert and Seth Meyers.
Everything went downhill after the whole like World Wildlife Fund incident.
Oh wow, I forgot about that. Yeah,
That's really where things went downhill for me.
Rudy Gambit says, my mom likes flowers, so I've been building her the Lego bouquets so they won't wilt. This year I made a picture frame out of Legos and took a good picture since she doesn't have pictures of me. That's very thoughtful.
I love anyone who likes Legos is a friend of mine. I love Legos.
It's a very thoughtful gift.
It is. It's very nice.
All right. Shane H. Wilder says, I remember by 18 you will have spent 90% of the time you will ever spend with your parents. I used to call my dad weekly, especially when he got sick.
Call your dad, call your mom, call your siblings.
Yep.
Do it. They're the only family you have.
Brian Bledsoe says, Viennetta ice cream commercials back in the day had me thinking I was too poor to eat some generic ice cream. Yeah, because they served it on like the metal, like the gold plate, whatever. It did look decadent, to say the least. All right. Cleggy says, hey, Olivia Claire, are you related to Hannah Claire Brimlow? My headcanon is that you are, but I might have missed the lore. Hey, Brendan and Brett, go Bulls, I guess. Go Wild.
Yeah, we're related.
That's fine. I'll let the Minnesota thing slide because I got kind of a go Bulls, so that's fine.
How'd you know we're related?
Cleggy, they are not related.
People are going to keep saying it, so I'm just not going to
You're
give them
not?
the reaction.
It's so hard for me to believe.
Oh my god, you both have the name Claire. What?
What the hell was that thing? That just flashed me back to a few weeks ago. What the hell was that thing?
Is that supposed to be like, hey, Shaggy?
No, I don't. I was just being an asshole. But there was something that somebody was doing. Was it? It was one of the podcasts that we were watching when that guy was just like, what the hell was he saying? It's gonna drive me nuts.
Like, yeah.
Like, yeah.
The guy.
Was that what it was? Yeah, he was like,
yeah. It was us and Tate. We kept going, yeah. You remember that we were like a guy was on a podcast with someone else. I can't remember what it was.
He was just agreeing.
As soon as these episodes are done, my brain
and it was
just
like
wipes
this guy.
clean.
The podcast
was it the one that was it the Robert Downey Jr. Interview?
It may have been. Oh, was it? Yeah, where he was like, yeah.
I don't think it was the Robert Downey Jr.
It was a bit different. No, but I thought it was too. Maybe not. If you guys can.
I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna have to look it up later because that's gonna drive me nuts. But it was from an interview.
Yeah.
I was just like,
We all kept going, to each other.
Yeah, Tate was here. I remember
Tate was here. And we all kept going,
Okay. All right. High Voltage 75 says, yikes, Papa John's. Why do you torture yourselves? I love Papa John's.
Don't shame him.
We have a good King's Pizza. I know that there's many different King's Pizzas, but we have a good King's Pizza by us. But I'm also a fan of Papa John's. I think it's because at my high school we had Papa John's, so I ate it every day for like all of junior and senior.
You would think
year.
you
They're the only
wouldn't
ones
like
around
it
here
then.
that still make a fire like buffalo chicken pizza. You can't really get that anywhere, so that's the only time I ever go there is when I want one of those. But
I do like Lido pizza, but I never get it. There's Lidos around here.
Yeah.
Too.
I miss Chicago. We were spoiled in Chicago with great pizza.
All right.
Yeah.
Pat the Plumber says the Dasovics can use my Netflix anytime, especially since Brett Dasovic is my hero.
Thanks.
You should wear a shirt that says that.
Brett
Dasovic
Dasovic
is my hero.
hero.
You should do that. Moon at Noon sent $1.99 with a thumbs up. Thank you, my friend. We do appreciate that here. Not that John Stewart says, weak cringe. I expected better from you.
Sorry, it was a quick one today.
Yeah, I really didn't want it to be any longer than that, so that's okay.
Yeah, see, it was kind of the perfect length. Yeah, you're welcome.
It made me very uncomfortable. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here for.
That is a good question on Rumble. How frequent are the tournaments if it was the 10th? Where are the other combatants in the other ones? Like, because they always advertise it as once a generation they fight.
Right.
So what does that mean?
The descendants were coming forward as the new champions,
now,
like Kung Lao, descendant of Kung Lao.
See, but what if they mean by generation? They're just like they,
every 50
is there like
years,
a millennial? Is like there a millennial tournament? Is there a Gen Z tournament where they say bussin'? Is there like a Gen Alpha tournament? Is clavicular in one of these tournaments? I need to know.
Smashing his face.
Yes, he doesn't lose like he lets Shao Kahn smash his face.
The Elder God
helps.
sanctioned tournament happens once every generation, which is typically defined as every 50 years. So yeah,
Okay,
we were right there.
Brian Bledsoe says Olivia's cringe continues to fuel my nightmares.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Cold Leftovers says anything is fair game as long as it's funny. Well, that's the gamble you take, right? You run the risk of it being offensive the second it's not funny. Yeah. So that is your cross to bear. Is it
really a risk though? Because when it's not funny, it does better than when it is. You get more views, you get more notoriety, you get more people talking about it. It generates more buzz around your name, even if it's negative buzz. Buzz is buzz, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Easy E says people only run to Lizzo's defense because she can't run to them.
That's why I said
Got
no
her.
one's running to her defense because they can't.
Maybe they do.
Gotcha, bitch.
Shane H. Wilder says never put your kids on the internet. Also, congrats to Bree. I didn't know she was pregnant again. I haven't talked to her in a few months.
It's my girl right there.
All right.
I love Bree. Sorry, that sounded weird.
Brian Bledsoe says, noticed when the UK imitate American accents, it's either Valley Girl, New York, or Deep South accent. Well, what does that mean, though? Like, what are the other accents? Like, is my Midwest accent that noticeable? That it
Apparently
has its own?
mine is. And I've been identified and called out for it so many times
I've
that
been told
I'm
I
just
have a
like, I
Michigan
don't.
accent.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I
always defend it with I don't have an accent, but then they're like, yeah, you do. I just heard it right there, and it's one of
There's
those.
certain things I say.
You have culture
that,
shock. You don't hear
Let me see
it.
if I can figure out. Let me look up Michigan.
Like, what does that mean? Like, what is the acceptable version of a Midwest accent?
Ope.
Ope.
I'm just gonna slide right
That's
by you
like
there.
things
That's
to
like.
say.
I do that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just gonna slide right. Just gonna slide right past you there. Oh.
Let me see. So
Ope is Midwest for sure.
trying to see if I can find one that's like it's a distinct regional dialect within inland North American English cluster, whatever the hell that means.
See, I'm with Jack Dub. He says Midwest is just normal. That's how I feel, but that's because it's
I
normal
feel.
to me. It's not normal anywhere else.
Yep.
You go somewhere else and you're instantly discovered.
See, it says that people that live in like Metro Detroit or Grand Rapids are similar to people from Chicago, so maybe that's why we don't
I
hear
think
it.
we're compared to, like, us in New York, I think, like, we're widely compared to, like,
Rochester.
how people think of people in Scotland with how thick their accents are up north.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me see. They're saying like the way we say caught. It's supposed to be pronounced caught. Like I caught that. Like I caught a ball.
Do you really want to exercise your jaw that much for one word though? Like
Okay, so yeah, there was actually there was a comment. I'm sure this person will see this if they watch the show regularly. That asked why I say aunt the way that I do.
Yeah.
And I say it's got a U in it. Who the hell's saying aunt?
Me.
Weird.
Aunt.
It's my aunt.
Gaunt.
Aunt.
Flaunt.
Aunt.
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 Staunt.
Aunt.
I do say
aunt.
I do say party store for any kind of.
But that's like, it would make the argument against people who say can't instead of can't.
What?
I can't. I can't do
Yeah,
that.
but that's
I can't do. I cannot.
It's like a British thing.
It's
though.
changing the whole. Like, there's people that like literally say can't that don't have accents, and I'm like, why?
Who?
I personally don't know any really, but I've heard it. I'm glad I don't know these people. I would disassociate if I did.
I say aunt because it's got a U in it.
I was just taught to say aunt. I don't know. Maybe that is like a Midwestern thing.
All right. We've got more here. Brian Bledsoe says Democrats only view anything from America in a positive light from the civil rights movement to now. I'll be in D.C. to celebrate 250. Can't wait.
Fun. Wait, who said that? Brian Bledsoe?
Brian Bledsoe.
Exciting.
Shane H. Wilder says, when it gets closer to her birthday, I'll send you a photo of the cat her and my dad used to have and let you crochet it.
Okay.
Obviously, you'll get paid.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, pop and soda, that's a thing too. That
I
battle
say
will
I
never end.
don't say pop.
I
used
soda.
to say pop. I'd say soda.
I feel like I've switched it up
Yeah.
a couple of times.
Pop Culture Junkie says, I'm a pizza snob, but I must admit Papa John's changed their pan pizza recipe mid-January 2026, and it actually doesn't suck. Okay for delivery in a pinch. I like Domino's pan pizza
I do love Domino's pan pizza.
as much as you can like a Domino's pizza.
Yeah.
Shane H. Wilder says, you had a Papa John's in your high school? Mine had a Pizza Hut and a Chick-fil-A. I still remember the Robert E. Lee mascot trying to pick up chicks at the Chick-fil-A.
Dude, we had, here's your high school food. We didn't have
like a Papa John's store. It got delivered to.
We didn't get that either. We got, here's your cafeteria food, bitch.
Well,
now eat it.
You had to buy, it was a la carte, so you had to pay extra
we
for
had
it.
to pay. Yes, we had to pay for our food, but it was just, here's your food from the cafeteria, very nondescript, and that was it.
Okay. I think for us, like, you could have like your set account that you could put money into.
No, we had that too. Yeah, it was just.
I remember you had to
paid for
type in the
food.
pin.
The pin.
Oh my gosh, I'm having like a flashback.
I
right
remember
now, too.
typing in my pin. I can still. I don't know what the numbers were, but I can still pretty much.
Wonder
do
if that
the
machine
order.
still exists. All right.
Never
that's so
experienced
funny.
one.
One more from Shane H. Wilder says Midland Lee's mascot was a cartoon of the general. All right then.
Cool.
Very cool. I don't even remember what the
Very
mascot was
nice.
at my high school. I don't know
We
if
had. I'm
one.
not going to say my high school's name, but we were the Spartans.
Okay.
Wait a minute, we were too.
Really? Yeah. I mean, I grew up in Michigan, so.
Yeah, we were the goddamn Spartans. It's terrible. John F. Kennedy.
Really?
Yeah.
No, ours was named after somebody else.
I'm pretty sure we were the Spartans.
When did
That's weird.
Chick-fil-A
I
start?
gotta look that up.
When did Chick-fil-A? When was
It's been
Chick-fil-A
around a long
founded?
time. A long time.
What the hell were we?
Can you look that up? When? Because I see somebody else, Receptive Skeptic in the chat says they had a Chick-fil-A in their high school.
Let me see. It was founded in well, it depends on which. The first version of it was 1946, and the first franchise was 1967.
Okay. We did not have a Chick-fil-A in Minnesota.
We didn't have it for a while in Michigan, but yeah, we were the
It was the fucking Crusaders.
The Crusaders.
We
That's
were
what
the
it was.
Spartans, and
Crusaders.
we my high school went viral after I left. There was a TikTok video, right?
Oh yeah,
Kind
you
of
told
golden
me
age of TikTok. And it's all these football guys mouthing the words to a Justin Bieber song, which skyrocketed.
Wait,
this
was it
one
TikTok
dude,
or Periscope?
TikTok.
Okay.
this one guy went into like insane levels of fame because girls thought he was cute, and I was like, man, those jerseys look super familiar, and that locker room looks really familiar. And I looked into it, and it was my high school. And I wonder where he went to Harvard, I think that kid did. And the girl now does like videography stuff, but they went so viral.
I remember you telling me about that.
That guy ended up dating one of the girls from Dance Moms for a little bit. He dated Kendall from Dance Moms for a little while, and she came to my hometown, and they were posting TikToks in my hometown, and I was like, this is really weird that Kendall is in my hometown right now.
Eugene in the chat says, everyone at my school just went to McDonald's for lunch. We could only do that our senior year. You were only allowed to leave campus for lunch if you were a senior.
We were never allowed to do that, which is insane.
Yeah, these kids here, their parents don't trust them, and this is what happens.
Bro,
this is why America's falling apart.
If I leave campus, I'm not coming back.
Yeah, and they knew that. Brian Bledsoe sent a super chat, said, new PCC shirt, Brett Dasovic is my hero.
That's such a good idea. I would wear it every day.
I would never.
They would ask who Brett Dassig was, and I'd be like, me. All right, guys, before we go, would you all please hit the like button on this episode and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. I also want to remind you again, if you are a PCC channel member on YouTube, tomorrow night I should hopefully have up the bonus content that I will be making with the ladies from Force of Light. We should be recording that at about 6:45 tomorrow night, excuse me. Hopefully put it out right after that. So stay tuned. I will post about it when it goes up. So thank you for that. All right, Brando, where can they find you?
As always, you guys can find me at Brando Boonies on Insta and on X. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for having me back. And if I'm not back Thursday, I will try to see you guys next week.
All right. Where can they find you?
You guys can find me on X and on Instagram at Olivia Dasovic. You guys should also go to timcast.com, hit join us, and you guys can join our members only Timcast Discord server where I'm hanging out, cast members are hanging out. It's a great time. We have a lot of fun. You can call in and talk to Tim. You disagree with Tim? Call in and talk to him. You never know what's going to happen. You can talk to the guest. We have a lot of fun there. You guys should join, and I will see you guys on Thursday.
Perfect. If you guys want to follow me, I am on Instagram and I am on X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. PCC is live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you'd like to listen rather than just watch the show, you can also rate and review on Apple Podcast and on Spotify, which is a great way to help us out. And if you want to follow the show on social media, we're on Twix at @popculture_show, Facebook at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We have a couple more
That's
super
a 50
chats here.
that just hit you.
Yes, but Greg Duvier says, like Toidles in the middle lane is for crime. Can't speak to whether that is true or not. And one more here from Not That John Stewart, who gave a big $50 super chat that says dance. Well, you're going to have to wait.
Thank you.
You have to wait for a second while we wait for it to...
It's got to catch up.
to trigger. I could do it manually, or we could just hang out.
We should do it manually.
I
gotta get over there.
I mean, that sounds like a, there it is. Hopefully
Gotta go do my job.
This is part of your job as well, at least on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But the thing is, though, is whenever I trigger it manually, it messes everything up, and then it starts effing with then the Crisis Party stops playing at the wrong time.
It's not even putting us at 2,
It
though.
will. It's because it did the $2 one first. It was the $2 one that was catching up.
There we go.
It is. So we will get that here. If you'd like, I guess I can just do it manually. Would you like me to?
Yeah, I kind of need to get over there.
I kind of want to see what happens now.
Well, that's what it is.
It's just the Crisis
No,
Party.
when he pushes the button, he said there's like a whole bunch of catastrophe and shit. I'm kind of interested in seeing it now.
It won't happen. So sometimes what will happen is it'll just the Crisis Party won't turn off.
So it's just after show, you're like, all right, we're going to see you later, and it's still going.
Well, then we will get it turned off.
It'll keep going the whole time. It's going to go off anyways.
Awesome.
Don't worry about it. Here you go. Don't be scared.
Get it.
Aww. Everybody danced, except for me.
No, you didn't, liar.
It's not my job to dance here.
Yes,
It's
it
their
is.
job to dance. With all of that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We will see you guys then.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Doses.